Yo, what's good? What up? What up? How we doing? Let's see. What's good? Got some homies. Unreal. Devin, Rory.
There we go.
What's up? Grant, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Lucas, what's up? Galen, good to see you.
What's up, Justin?
Not too much. Awesome. Dude, G, been a minute, dude. So good to see you. Bailey, what's up? Unreal. This is awesome. All right, just while people filter in, like we've done in the past, drop a comment. Where are you calling in from?
All right.
Dope. Dude, Alex, you're in Paris? Dude, it's so late. Thanks for staying up, dude. Appreciate you. Bailey in Cincinnati, J and SF. We got Minneapolis, Vancouver, LA, Cali, Toronto, Fort Collins, dude, Bogota, Colombia. Let's go. Asheville, Bend, Connecticut. Amazing, amazing. Lana, good to see you. Unreal. Baltimore, Boulder, Rory, holding it down. Unreal. And shout out Asheville, 100%. And put it in the chat. Who are you listening to? Who is inspiring you? What kind of music are you feeling? Any artists, labels, vibes? Stash, I'm not familiar. Amy Winehouse. And Fred, of course, Mary Droppins and Hypnotic Groove. Amazing. MPH, Subfocus. Mia Koden. Oh, she's so sick. We both played Shambhala this year, and I got to see her for a bit. She was great. Something Light Records, not familiar. Eli Brown, Mantra, oh, he's awesome. Odd Mob, Shalant, Dom Dalla, Find My Name, some Fire D&B, Unknown Mortal Orchestra, unreal. Let's see, awesome. And I'm also curious, Baltra, love Baltra, Skin on Skin, Fiak, unreal. Um, so here's another question. Just because we're swim, love swim. We're gonna go a little bit deeper on music production today, and I'm just kind of curious. Put in the chat. Yeah, just tell me a little bit about your experience level with making music, whether it's like haven't even downloaded Ableton and you're just here to hang out, or been doing this for a long time, made a lot of songs. I'm just want to hear get a sense of who's in the house in the Zoom. Um, Ableton newbie, about 4 tracks in. One, let's go. Grant, been making music on Logic Pro since 2020. Awesome. Uh, let's see. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Darux. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce your name too horribly. Made a couple tracks, still amateur-ish. Awesome. Sydney, beginner AF. Let's go. Ted, 10 years in the game and finally finding my stride. Amazing. 2 out of 10. Uh, long time made hundreds of bad songs. Hey, be nice, bro. Been DJing about 6 months and just picked up Ableton about a month ago. Unreal. JT. Amazing. 5 weeks into Ableton, no tracks, only loops. Well, hopefully we can change that. G took a bit of a break, but last month or so, been in my bag and pumping up music. Let's go. Galen fumbled with Ableton for years and years, but fully invested in the last few months. Finished and played our first song last weekend. Galen, that's amazing, dude. Put it in the chat. How did it feel? Or let's see. Galen, okay, there you are, dude. Hop on the mic. Just talk to me. How was it? How did it feel to play out your first song?
Oh man, it was a feeling like I've never felt before. It's like just the amount of hours and years thinking about being able to do that and then finally being able to press play on this remix that I did. It was wild. Yeah.
Dude, that is
I
amazing.
it's I was I think I told somebody it's like I parked a big truck on a hill and I've just kind of like taken the wedge out from the tires and now it's just like your project. I sent you one. I'm just like the creativity is out of control right now.
Dude, let's go. Did it feel vulnerable to play your song?
I've DJed for years and years and years, so I don't have too much vulnerability when I'm up there anymore, but a little bit. I don't know. I was also like quite sick, so I kind of was just like in a fever dream all.
Dude, I feel like sometimes, hey, if you're just yeah, a little out of it, you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna press play on this thing. That'll
Yeah,
work.
it was
Dude,
great.
so yeah, and just to get a little context, because dude, that just sounds like such a huge win. First time playing one of your songs, how long have you been making music for? Like what's your journey been like?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the 909 call just quickly at the end of the call. I chatted with you, and like I've been DJing for probably like 15 years, and I've had Ableton like on my computer for probably about 10 in its different forms,
Mhm.
and like made a remix like for a friend, but like never like just kind of like rearranged stems like 10 years ago, and then literally never had any mentorship, never had any learning, just kind of like would go in and like, oh, I can maybe like program a drum beat, but like like no sense of rhythm or swing or nothing. Like
Mhm.
so like every time you would get an idea out of it, as a DJ, I knew it didn't sound very good, right? So you're kind of like the idea is there, but I just didn't know how to translate the idea into, all of the different things you can do in Ableton, which you can get lost, like
Yeah.
trying to do too much, which the 909 challenge on the call, last time resonated with me so much because I was like, just strip it back. And then, I mean, I had kind of already finished that song, but now this new one's literally, I just started it yesterday for this call because I didn't
Uh-huh.
have much for the last one. So now it's just, yeah, it's understanding like the simplicity and just being able to like use vocal chops as little bits here and there too, right?
Yeah.
Like you're so good at that, being able to just kind of place those on the grid as you want them to kind
Mhm.
of and using the toms
Mhm.
bass line, and then you can just translate the toms down to it if you have a bass instrument, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Uh,
it was amazing to be able to finally do that because I mean I went fully in on DJing about I would say like 3 or 4 months ago. Like
mhm.
I quit my job like a year ago, but I
Mhm.
actually like invested in a mentorship
Mhm.
and got like cleared the schedule.
Uh-huh.
So happy that you kind of the 909 challenge kind of showed up when it did, is right in the heart of things kind of taking off.
Let's go, dude. Yo, can everyone just unmute? Make some noise for Galen for playing out his first track ever,
Let's
dude.
go,
Let's
Let's
Galen.
go.
go!
Amazing.
Unreal. Dude, thank you all for that was a great share. Galen, thank you for hopping in the mic and sharing your story. So awesome. And dude, I feel like, yeah, everyone here, play out your tunes. Even if it's vulnerable, even if you're unsure, just fucking send it. And my hope for this session today is I'll try to highlight some of the most important things that I think we need to do to get our songs across the finish line. Hopefully we can yeah, get some show some stuff. Let me read a couple more comments. JT, been DJing about 6 months and just picked up Ableton about a month ago. That's amazing. Jay, 5 weeks into Ableton, no tracks, only loops. Okay, wait, I've already read this. Let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, cool. Uh, First time I played my songs out loud was in SF a couple months ago. It was crazy because my friends who have been supporting me were so excited to hear it live when yelled, "Y'all don't even know what's coming." That's amazing. Um, Best feeling ever is when you're playing your song and someone goes, "Who is this?" 100% Lucas. Yes. Oh, that is such an awesome feeling. Unreal. Uh, Elliot, good to see you. I just asked people, the original question was just where you're at in your music making journey and you know, what that's looked like. Awesome. So, all right, let's keep it rolling. So Justin, I have dozens of unfinished product projects. How do you get over the this can be different, better mindset and actually get songs over the finish line? I'm stuck here for too long. Okay, great question. So, um, finally got my first song signed. Will, let's go to Garage Shared. Very excited, dude. Congratulations. That's amazing. So I just want to talk for a bit about what was that question? It was so good about when is a song finished? A couple of just big picture things. I want to say some songs are easier to finish than others. Siri, I'm not talking to you. My phone started talking. Okay. Some songs are easier to finish than others, and we should never make like a judgment call on our music if we're struggling on an idea, if it's not coming together quickly. Some songs come quick, some don't. In Suit, some songs, I feel like there's just tracks out there where, yeah, you can get stuck. You can be unsure of how to get it across the finish line. And I'm not here saying I know how to finish every song 100% of the time quickly. It, some songs can be more challenging than others, and that's just part of it. When it comes to making simple tracks, I think it's much easier to get them across the finish line because there's just less elements to problem solve around. It's like if there's certain songs that I have where, maybe there's 100, 200 different channels. Maybe there's different sections where like one section has this kind of idea and then it switches to a different genre or a different chord progression or whatever. Like the more complexity you have, it will be exponentially harder to problem solve. Where's the issue? Why doesn't this feel good? If you have 50 sounds, it could be any one of those sounds. It could then be any, like it could be about the way these sounds flow from one section to another, could be a mixing thing, volume, melody, like, all of these different issues. But if you only have a few sounds, problem solving becomes a lot easier. And this is sort of like my whole approach with the 909 challenge. It's like if you can get really dialed with making a simple idea sound good, all of the core skills that you sharpen in that process will then directly translate as you increase the complexity. Does that make sense to people? Okay, sweet. And Justin, how do you create a schedule? So also I'm gonna do I'll definitely make some time for Q&A at the end. And what I want to do is I want to give a really short lecture just to kind of give people some knowledge and information. Then I'm gonna do I downloaded a couple of people's projects like really quickly before the Zoom started. I'll pull up a few and kind of walk people through some feedback. And then we can do a little bit of a song share, maybe at the very end, and in between that, we'll do a Q&A. Does that sound cool as like an agenda for tonight? Amazing. So, let's see. Let me just start with opening up a blank project. Okay. Sweet. So, share sound. Okay. I want to talk about, I'm going to show two things. I'm going to show something more advanced when it comes to making drum beats and talk about it. And then ironically, afterwards, I'm going to show you a song that doesn't use any of these techniques because they're all unnecessary. So, this is like the funny part about making music. There's so much that you can do, and I'll show you some like fun extra stuff, and then you don't need to use any of it. So I think like let's see how far that gets us. Let me open up this. Yeah, that's fine. And let me just pull up in a 909. Okay, sweet. So, I'm just gonna make a little 909 beat and show a couple other fancy techniques that are really fun. So, can you guys hear my Ableton? Is that working? Okay, sweet. Awesome. So, just as a little refresh, and this will also be, like a good refresh of if your song isn't working, it could be there could be an issue here. Let me also just get mini meters open so that we can see what I'm doing. And we're going to talk about everything from mixing to the songwriting. Let me just pull up a limiter and Let me open this mini meters plugin so that we can see what is happening in the track. Okay, cool. Awesome. So when it comes to making a beat, I'm just going to reiterate some of the fundamentals from the 909 challenge. For making house or techno, kick drum on every beat is a good starting point. And it's funny, if we were in Berlin, this right here would be it would just completely tear up the dance floor without anything else. Just like a big kick drum by itself is all you need to get the party going. But to really keep that groove going, often we use bass. And I would say its like main goal is to fill space between the kick drums. So on this 909, the low tom, we just put some toms in, mix them around. This fills in the spaces between the kick drums. And one thing that I see a lot of people kind of struggle with is I think like a good rule of thumb for this challenge is put a 909 tom between each kick. And what I want everyone to think about is if we look at a single kick drum, let's just zoom in here. And I'm going to loop this. There's essentially 4 different positions for notes within a single beat. With the kick, one after, in the middle, right here. These are the different options. And where we place these toms, definitely, this is like one of the key dynamics of making a good track is where we put the dots. Where did you put the dots? So let's just listen to how these change in feeling. Cool. So one thing that's funny about toms is if you repeat the same position over and over again, it sounds pretty repetitive and not very funky. And if this was like a synth bass, you could use that pattern, that offbeat feel. But I think for toms, to me, it's a little boring. All of these are just too repetitive in my opinion. But let's try this. So if I make this a 2-bar loop, and once again, let's just start with a repetitive idea like this. If we decide to take one of those notes and move it to a different position, we're going to immediately get a really funky feeling. So if I move it to the left, let's listen to that. If I move it to the right, both of these patterns, both of these options work really well. So, I hope that you can kind of see like how the note position changes so drastically, like how it makes us move. And what we can do is let's zoom out and go to the full bar. And let's just put some more notes in. And, I mean, this right here could just repeat, but there's, you can play around and just see what feels good. And all of these options will work. There's no right or wrong. And it's kind of just like arbitrary to a certain degree. Cool. So that's just like a little refresh. And if you're ever making a song, if you're writing a bass line and it's not feeling good, this is one of the first things that you can really examine. Your kick and your bass together should make you want to dance. And if they're not, the things that you can problem solve are like, is the kick loud enough? Is the bass filling up spaces between the kicks? Does it have the right feel? And the 909 challenge, I think, is such a good way to gauge what a good kick and bass relationship should feel like. So let's just run with this. And now I want to talk a little bit about hi-hats and some other sounds. And here's where we're going to start talking about some stuff that we didn't talk about on the 909 challenge. So for hi-hats, this is super, super powerful and super important. There is I'm going to backtrack a little bit. With kick and bass, one of the most important parts of getting the low end of your track to feel good is that your kick be louder than your bass. And give me a thumbs up if you can see. Do you see how the kick drum has a larger waveform than the bass? I'm just gonna. So if you highlight the if you highlight a bunch of the MIDI notes, you can adjust their velocity or their volume. And so I just want to show you guys, like, if I bring the kick down, now the bass is probably going to be louder. And this would not feel very good on the club. It sounds cool. Like it doesn't sound like a bad song or a bad idea. But if I played this in the club compared to the other songs that I would be DJing, it would feel very unsatisfying. It would feel like the track isn't hitting. And what so often can happen with artists is like, dude, this literally happened with one of my friends who he he had never really made music, and I was kind of showing him, and he made this song that was like a Whitney Houston remix, and it was really cool, but it wasn't. He played it on the dance floor, and it did not hit at all. And he started second guessing everything about the song. He was like, dude, do I need to change the melody? Are the sounds not good? Is the structure off? Like, what's wrong? And the issue was that the kick was too quiet. And so I got to look at the project and was just like, dude, let's make the kick like 4 or 5 times louder. And we just increased that volume. And then the track felt amazing. And that sounds like a too good to be true story, but I swear to you, this actually happened. And the track ended up becoming like a pretty big song. And it's by my friend Benny Bridges, and the sample got cleared. It got officially released, which is crazy. And he almost changed everything about the whole freaking song. It's so insane, but it was just the kick was too quiet. So I hope if you're ever making a track and it's not feeling good, this is the place to begin. Kick and bass. So this right here. Nope. Here, I'm going to turn this off. If anyone's listening on speakers, like, give me a thumbs up if you could feel that difference in power, right? And all it is was adjusting the volumes, essentially. Okay, so there are so many things in music where it's like, if you can understand the concept in one domain, it will help you in other domains. So this idea of like the volume relationship between the kick and bass, we can apply it to hi-hats, which sounds interesting. So just as the kick is kind of the dominant sound in terms of volume and the tom is quieter, when we deal with hi-hats for normal, like classic house music, there is one hi-hat that should be louder and dominant compared to the others. This rule can be broken, but if your song isn't feeling good, this is another area to problem solve. And the hi-hat that should be loudest is the one that plays in between the kick drums. Let me just turn this on. Okay, so let me press play and listen to that unce, unce, unce feeling. Now, this upbeat hi-hat, it's so important. The reason it's so powerful is because like you could have just this one hi-hat and nothing else. And if it's loud enough and powerful enough, you're chilling. Like you don't need to add more. And on the flip side, where a lot of people might go wrong is if you add a bunch of hi-hats and this one is not the loudest, the groove might sound cool, but it's not going to feel I don't think you're going to be able to really dance to that groove for 3, 4, 5 minutes in a row. So let me just show, like I think a lot of people who might do this wrong. So like, let me put it, let me just try to make this more confusing and just add a bunch of, I'm going to make these kind of quiet and exaggerate this a little bit. And this could be interesting, but it's not going to be uh, something that would be very effective on the dance floor. Like, that's an interesting idea, but you could have something like this for a bit of your track, but it's not going to carry the groove the way something like this would. Right? Like, does that make sense to people in terms of the emphasis that this hi-hat should have? And what I want to show is if we do the same exact rhythms, but make those hi-hats quieter, like we can pretty much get away with almost anything. And hopefully this sounds better. I'm just moving them down and making them quieter. Give me a thumbs up if you can feel that difference, right? Cool. And I'm going to take away these kicks. Let's just look at the visual and see if the main hi-hat looks louder than these other ones. I'll play that main hi-hat by itself. Do you guys see how, like, in the visual, once again, it's like the main hi-hat, you can visually see that it's bigger, and the smaller hi-hats, which are quieter, yeah, they have a smaller waveform. If we looked at like the volume levels, that would probably be reflected as well. But in my mind, this greatly sort of echoes the same principle as the kick and the bass. It's like we want that main kick louder than the bass line or the toms. We want that main hi-hat louder than the little shuffle hi-hats. Does that make sense to people? Cool. And let's apply that idea one more time with, let's say we're making like just a standard house beat. Let's put a clap on 2 and 4. Let's say we want to have some fun and add some more rhythmic sounds. Like, let's say we want to add a few more claps. And maybe for this, I will duplicate the loop by clicking this button so we can have some more variations. And maybe I'll put a clap here and one here. Now, you don't need, like, if it's infrequent, you could just let it be loud and it wouldn't necessarily ruin the track. Like, let's just listen. Oh, wait, whoops, here. Let me stretch this loop out so we can hear the full thing. Like, that's totally fine. I think where we might get a little bit more value out of adjusting the volumes of these other hits is if maybe we were trying to do something where the claps were actually getting pretty busy, and maybe there's no rule here, but I think by keeping things a little quieter, it helps the song from being too overwhelming. And I think also when you have these differences in volume, with some sounds being really loud and others being quiet, you can end up getting really funky patterns and feeling really funky. So I'm going to take out the hi-hats just so you can appreciate these claps. And maybe I'll make them all the same volume so you can hear how that sounds. Cool. And maybe with the volume changes. It's not a huge difference, but I think it helps keep the focus on 2 and 4. Like, it helps the listener know the claps that you go, like if you're going to clap along to this track in the crowd, you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, clapping on 2 and 4. These other claps, they're less important. They're not as loud. And I think, I just put some kind of like randomly adjusted the volumes to just make them different. And then they feel pretty funky. Okay, cool. Let's talk about some other stuff that's happening in this track that I think could make this drum beat better. So one of the things that I love about making tracks with just the 909 is you can see everything that's happening in your whole song. And I think one area where I think things could be slightly improved is right here. There's just a lot of stuff happening all at once. Because there is these like the tom plays down here an extra time. There's this hat, there's this clap. I wonder if I just move this over here, how that would feel to kind of give this a little bit more emphasis. Maybe I'll make it a little louder too. Cool. I guess that's what's happening here. Yeah, I kind of like that. I think, there's not so much like a rule here, but rather, I think the more you can understand what's happening in your whole song, the better. Let me show a better example of this. So I'm gonna delete everything. So if we were trying to add ideas to this, one of the nice things to look at is where is there space? And in this pattern, the way it currently is, there's nothing happening here and here. So, back to the 909 challenge, I think to me, that seems like a really cool opportunity to put like a vocal. Let's see, maybe here, what kind of vocal? Where I'm just like, okay, cool. That's perfect. Sweet. Even just that little vocal chop. So the idea is I'm looking at my sounds. The claps are kind of the ones that are the most in the mid range of the track. And I think because I have this open space here, this would be a really cool place to put something. Like that right there by itself, very cool breakdown idea. Like that could totally like go off on the dance floor as like a nice tension moment. Let's bring in the rest of the sounds. And yeah, let's see how it feels in other positions in this first beat. Maybe here. Cool. That works too. That works too. All of them are very valid ideas. Cool. Super fun. Okay, so I think the main thing that I wanted to highlight there, people would call that call and response. Let me show one more example of how that could manifest even without the vocal chop. Let's say the vocal chop isn't in, but maybe we put a rim shot here and maybe 2 rim shots here. Let's just listen to that. Cool. And, let's just get a little crazy with it. Put a snare there. Do this to snare. Cool. Versus getting too busy, adding more stuff when there's already a bunch of shit happening. I think this is like such a big part of making music is if you start throwing a lot of ideas, you need to be careful of putting too much when there's already a lot happening. And I think, something that's really nice is just keeping space open so that you can add more stuff. Okay, so one last topic that I want to talk about that's like a new idea that we haven't talked about is swing. Let me pause real quick. Okay, before I talk about swing, just was any of what I just said helpful? Okay, cool. I don't want to throw too much too fast. Can everyone just quickly comment one thing that I just talked about that you're like, okay, I'm going to be more conscious about this idea when working on songs? Because there was like a bunch of things that I mentioned that are important. So just want to pause real quick. I know I threw a lot out, but can you put one thing that you think is important? Kick always loudest, 100%. Super. More conscious on velocity, totally. One main hi-hat and not overcrowding the top end. Yes. Different volumes on hi-hats. And just want to reiterate that main hi-hat, if I take out all these unnecessary ones. This main hi-hat, I want it to be a consistent volume. This would ruin the song. Hold on. Right? It's like, oh, I did all this fancy stuff. Like, no, that's not what we want. We want this, the same hi-hat, same volume. Not this. Right? That sounds like we did something wrong. That consistency is super powerful. Does that make sense to people? Okay, cool. So it's, that's the kind of funny thing, right? It's like, yes, it's cool to like adjust the volumes of things, but you want to know the stuff that should not be messed with. And once again, all of these rules can be broken. But if your song isn't feeling good, these are the things to look at. you know, be like, okay, like, yeah, if you want to do some crazy shit and it feels good and you're confident about it, perfect. But if it's not, these can be like make or break things, that hi-hat volume, that kick versus bass relationship. Be intentional. What hat is loudest? Perfect. Simplicity. Bass not louder than the kick. Thinking about the sounds and where they sit in the range of opportunities to change things up. I love that. Volume cutting off beats. One main hi-hat, 100%. Okay, awesome. Honestly, something I've known to keep bass and kick balanced that way as well as sidechain, but using mini meters is clutch to see it in snapshot. Dude, the one thing about sidechaining is it actually doesn't necessarily address this problem because you're, the bass might be louder than the kick. It just might not play at the same time as the kick. So it could be like a little kick, bah, and then wah, but wah, but wah. Like it's still that volume issue is still important to assess, even without compression and side chaining and anything fancy. Volume, so important. It sounded really familiar to me to my first release without the additional sounds at first in the beginning, and then it sounded really different. Space out elements, amazing. Variation of volume makes it a lot less robotic, and offbeat elements create swing, 100%. What about adding jack to the hi-hat, though? That is exactly what I'm going to talk about next. K, the advice for success boils down to the Marshmallow Tower Challenge. In order to succeed, start with something small that works, then iterate to something taller, better, more complex. That is unreal. I love that. I'm not familiar with that challenge, but that really resonates. Okay. And I tried to sample my voice in the original call for the 909, but I couldn't get the whole file downloaded off YouTube. That's awesome. Okay. I feel like I need to check out this Marshmallow Challenge. I'm actually clicking on it and the link is not working on my computer. Okay, it just popped up. I'm gonna look at that later. That looks amazing. Thank you for sending. Okay, sweet. Super simple stuff. Super simple. People forget to do these things once you have 50 layers in your track and you don't even know where your kick is or where the hi-hats are because there's so many different sounds happening. Or if you use loops, you can't even tell and adjust which hi-hat is doing what, so this simplicity, it makes such a big difference. Also, I was just scrolling through Zoom. Ed, good to see you, dude. I just saw your smile. It made me smile. Unreal. So let's keep it going. Let's talk about swing. So I'm going to show swing is a really satisfying part of music. And it's really interesting. I'm gonna quickly let you hear swing, and then I'll show you how it's done. But I'm just gonna turn it on here. So this is the track with no swing, and now with swing. So a lot of swing gives tracks swing is one of the most important parts of making UKG. Just want to pause real quick. Give me a thumbs up if you like UKG. Okay, sweet. Awesome. If you do and you want to make UKG, this is super defining. So let me just talk about what swing is. And for anyone who gets confused here, just know that you do not need to use swing in your songs to make them good. It is an optional tool. So when we place notes, we have this grid, which has 16 different positions in a measure for us to place stuff. And if we place notes everywhere, it sounds like this. Oh, that's with swing. Let me turn the swing off. 0. So this groove, what we would call it, is straight. And a swung groove is where we take every other note, skipping the first, and have these notes start late. Okay? Do people hear that difference where one sounds very robotic and the other one sounds kind of like a horse galloping or something like that? So every other note being late, and it's very important that the first note is on and the second note is off, third note on, fourth note off. This is how it sounds with a kick drum and a clap. And like I was mentioning, we want that main hi-hat to be louder. So right there, like already, we're getting pretty close to that classic UKG sound. And what's cool about this, like, let's say I don't put every note in, but I just do a couple, maybe like this. And here, let me switch to a shorter hi-hat. Maybe I take this note and move it to a clap. Like already, this is very much in that UKG territory. Does that make sense to people? So it's all about these notes. Once again, I'm just going to undo all this. All of this comes from the 16th note grid and half of the notes being late. And it's every other note. Another way to think about it is within a beat, there's 4 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first position and the third position are locked in. They're on time. But the second and fourth are late. Okay. So this is the mechanic behind swing, is that half the notes are late. And it's very specific. It's every other note. And it is, even if you take some of these notes out, it doesn't matter. It's not like the downbeats, which are the ones where the kick plays. These ones should always be on. The upbeats, where the main hi-hat is, these are actually the notes that should always be on time. And it's funny because those are the notes we just talked about as being the most important for being loud. Does that make sense to people? So your main hi-hat should be on. Your kick should be on the grid, and everything else should be late. And when you're making UKG and stuff with swing, there's different ways to do it, but there's so many times where I'll make tracks of swing where I'll literally just put in a hi-hat and just arbitrarily kind of drag it late. And what I would normally do is, once I do something like that, I might copy it over, keeping the same amount of lateness, although it doesn't actually matter. Like, I'll put one here and I'll do like a different amount of lateness, like dragging it more. And I'll put one here and do it kind of off. And that's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect. It feels human. But if you want to be more precise, one of the ways you can do this is to highlight the note. And this is really important for beginners. When you are highlighting things in Ableton to do a copy and paste, if you just click the note will repeat like that. But if you want to have the note repeat over a certain duration, you want to click and drag. And do you guys see how there's this neon blue bar above the cursor? That shows what amount of blank space will be copied. And so to accurately copy this hi-hat to this part of the song, what I need to do is I can't just go like this. This will not sound good. What I did, if you notice, give me a thumbs up if you see this. See how I did not highlight that first piece of the loop? That's the problem. So to get that, I actually need to click here and click and drag all the way through so that this blue bar goes cleanly and perfectly from 1 to 1.3. And now if I use the key command, Command D, it's duplicated. And if I use that same technique, but in a different way, let me just do this part and do it one more time, Command D. I've highlighted the first two 16th notes is what they'd be called, and do Command D. Now it's perfect. Cool. So that's a little bit of just how to copy and paste, or in this case, using Command D to duplicate. There is an easier way to do swing that is maybe a bit, I think in some ways it's more complicated, in some ways it's easier. But let me show you. So Ableton has this advanced feature called the Groove Pool. And it can be seen on my computer right here. And yeah, I think like there's like depending on which version of Ableton, there's sometimes like a logo or like icon at the bottom left that you need to click to make it show up. Sometimes it looks like waves, if I'm remembering correctly. But the way it works is it can apply swing to your MIDI notes throughout the track. And for swing, this is like the standard swing that a lot of like UKG people turn to. They type in Logic 66. I think it's because this comes from like Logic Pro. And the number 66 just sort of suggests the amount of swing. It is like 2/3 swing. And that's not that important, but if it was like swing, I don't know if there's more numbers, like swing 50, like what are the other Logic swing options? Yeah, you can see there's all these different numbers, and the higher the number, the more intense or delayed the notes will be. So 51, it sounds almost like the robot. If we compare that to swing 74, it sounds like like the notes are really, really late. So what that looks like is probably something like this, where the notes are really, really late. Maybe not that late, but that's sort of what that's controlling. And for whatever reason, 66 is sort of the main the go-to. And let me just delete it. But so this is how we apply swing through the Groove Pool. For anyone who's new to Ableton, you do not need to use this. I did not use this feature for like 10 years. And still, even today, I don't use it that often, but it is an option. So what we do to use it, there's two different ways to do it. The best way is to just drag it into the Groove Pool. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that the global amount is turned on. That way, if it was set to 0 initially, and so that's why we didn't hear anything. Let me just show the example. So let me put the hi-hats in. Those notes are straight. There's no swing. And by the way, it's cool. In the waveform, you can kind of see how the spacing is changing a bit. Cool. So that swing, da, 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 that's, it comes from like jazz, like when people would play jazz music, like on the ride cymbal. Uh, anyways, once you put the swing into the groove pool, you can apply it to your MIDI clips in this view down here. Give me a thumbs up if you can see where it says groove. Awesome. You click and select swing logic 16th 66. That's what is in here. And when we do that, all of a sudden, it goes from sounding like this to that. Does that make sense to people? Cool. And then one last button that you can choose. So this tool is really fun because you can just put stuff in, and I'm just gonna like randomly click a bunch of shit and just make this track kind of busy. Let's see. Cool. Let's see, where's the rim shot? Cool. Awesome. Cool. Okay, I'm putting so much stuff in. Great. And everything is just automatically swung. I don't need to like go in and drag anything, which can sometimes be a little tedious if you're putting a lot of different sounds into the song. If you want to see where your notes actually are, there's this tiny little arrow next to groove. And what it does is it changes the note positions to reflect where they actually are. That way, if you want some notes to be straight or change the groove, you can do that. So I'll make these notes straight and these notes swung. Versus if the groove was on, you can't really tell what's happening. So this arrow, it's called commit, and I think that's the name for it, commit groove. So it press this button to write the current groove setting in this clip. Okay, that's like a complicated way to say it, but it just locks in the groove, moving the notes that I mentioned late. Okay, so that's the groove. Cool. And one other thing that's worth noting, if you wanted to, you can also just drag stuff right on. You can drag grooves right onto the MIDI clips. But I don't advise this because you would then have to remember to drag it on every MIDI clip versus if it's in the groove pool, you can just do that. I often do not use the groove pool. So for anyone who got intimidated by that, I actually really like to just drag notes around most of the time. And let me show you one thing about dragging notes around that I think is actually advantageous. So let's go to this UKG groove and let's do a vocal chop. So this is what is super important. If you're using groove, it's really crucial to have as many of your sounds as possible, hopefully all of them, line up with the groove. So check this. I'm going to put a note here. I'm going to put a vocal chop here. And if I turn on, by the way, for Ableton beginners, if you right click on the project and choose 1/16th, this shows that same kind of like increment as when we're programming our drum ideas. And turning on the 16th note grid is very useful when we're placing new sounds if we want them to be really accurate. However, if we're really zoomed out, we don't want 16th notes because if you move an idea, you might move it in a way that's really annoying. So what I'll sometimes do is turn on the 16th note view when I'm zoomed in to move things around. And then when I zoom out, I right click and switch to narrow. Does that make sense to people? Okay, sweet. So back to this idea of the groove. This vocal chop on the 16th note grid is in time. But do you guys see how my hi-hat that's right here is late? These sounds are not lined up. This is not ideal. Let's listen. It might sound fine, but it won't sound amazing. Versus if I line it up, do you guys feel how moving that vocal chop in sync with the hi-hat makes it feel more locked in the groove and more skippy and just like gets us that feel, right? So this is one of the big advantages of doing the swing manually. You could also do this by using the groove pool and then committing it. But I'm just a big fan because if you have other sounds and you want them to fit with your track, it's sometimes nice to be able to see where you should put your sounds. So like I'm gonna maybe make this a little bit more kind of interesting. Let's see, maybe I'll take this and duplicate it here. So make a little variation. Let's see how this feels. Maybe I'll make this one a little quieter. I'll click on it, drag the gain down. Maybe I'll put it here. Cool, sweet. So, and if we add a bass line or a tom pattern, we would want it to have the same groove. Let's just, for this example, I'll just add some toms. But this one is with the hi-hat. That's perfect. But this one is not in the right position. One way that I would do this is take maybe the hi-hat, duplicate it, and move it down. And then let's take all of this, duplicate it, and just keep this going. Cool, awesome. And what's fun is like, let's take a few more ideas. And here, maybe like, let's add some more small claps and put them in some interesting places. Maybe like here. I kind of want to go a little crazy with it just for fun. And by the way, one nice technique you can do is you can add a bunch of notes and get a little crazy with it. And then you can duplicate so that those notes repeat, and then simplify one of those ideas. But maybe for this one, maybe like what I realized is the claps kind of play at the same time as the vocal chops. So maybe I take this idea and move it over here. Cool, I like that more. Maybe I'll take one out. Cool, awesome. So that is my lesson on groove and swing. Was that helpful for anyone? Awesome. And if we were going to add more elements, we would want as many things as possible to align with that groove. And because I'll just show real quick, hold on. What would ruin this idea is, let's say we added a synth. Okay, sure. And if we add a synth, let's see what this sounds like. Okay, cool. And it's straight, it's going to clash with the groove. Oh, wait, that actually has swing because of the thing. Do you guys hear how messy that is? It's like all the notes are off, right? If I turn the swing on, it might not sound good, but at least rhythmically, it'll be locked in. So here's no groove. I think that's actually not even the right one because it's, I need to like line it up visually, but let's do that. So let's just take one note, and this is like a little bit more complicated. So pretty much what I want to do for this situation is I look up here while I adjust the note down here. And there's other ways to do this, but that's often how I end up doing it. So like that. And let's say, why don't we move it Where's a good place? I don't know. Maybe like here. I don't know. There's, I've already put so much stuff in this track. Like, ironically, if I was gonna work on this track, I think I would put it like maybe there, because there's no vocal there. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, maybe like I'll put like one extra one as like a variation. Maybe where would be a good place for it? Like maybe here. So right click and let's put it yeah, let's try putting it here and swing it. And once again, I'm looking at the other sounds. Let's get these lined up. It doesn't need to be super, super perfect, but close enough. Let's listen. Cool. Funny enough, I feel like I actually like it even without that, just the simplicity of it. But all right, so that is a bit of groove. And I talked about velocity, how you can get all these different sounds to kind of, make your drum loops feel alive, like as you place more sounds. But I just want to quickly show a song that I made that doesn't use any of this shit, and just remind people like how you don't need. Oh, I'll save this. This could be a track I play easily. Let me just save it in my ideas folder. 909 with swing idea. Okay. Let me open up a track that I made that uses none of these techniques. This track, and I wanted to show you guys this because it's like I don't want everyone here to just like feel to do this challenge. You need a bunch of fancy drum patterns because you really don't. So this track, I've played this out multiple times and it goes off. Excuse me. Let me check. Does it have swing? It doesn't have any swing. And the only drum, this song actually has 5 sounds. It has a kick. Oh, here, let me put mini meters on. Okay, cool. It has a kick, a bass. It has a hi-hat, really loud, and a clap, and a vocal. So I lied. 4 sounds. Wait, kick, bass, hi-hat, clap, vocal. No, 5. Counting is hard. 5 sounds. I'll play it for a little bit and you can kind of hear how it works.
You got me horny in the morning and I tried to call you but I can't find the telephone. I sent a message through the internet but it rejected. I wrote a letter and I sent it with the post. The post it takes so long, so I've got to sing this song to let you know how I feel. What's the deal, baby?
So super simple. The drums never change ever through the whole song, and they never get more complicated. At a few points, the drums stop.
Touch it on, this feeling's much too strong. My heart is ringing and I'm singing this song for you.
This part also, it sounds so painfully stupid. People often cheer a lot when this section happens because like in the silence, people in the crowd they get hyped. They're like, they can feel the tension of like what's about to happen. And it's just so funny because there's nothing happening. They've been listening to all of these ideas for like 3, I guess 2.5 minutes. And now it's just the kick and the hi-hat and the clap are out. And then when it comes back in, And everyone's like, yes. It's so silly. So yeah, and this track, it works great. There's like nothing on it. Bass is a sample, saturator, nothing, yeah, there isn't even any EQ on any of this. Unreal. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight that as an example of like, we've been on Zoom for like an hour talking about all this fancy shit, swing and velocity and all this stuff, and none of it is necessary. Okay, none of it is necessary. And I think to take a step back, like the big with this 909 challenge, I know that that's the example I just played. It didn't just use the 909. That bass line is not part of the 909. The hi-hat and clap are different, but they could have been 909 samples. When you are composing a song, I think one of the biggest factors to consider, especially for this 909 challenge, is the vocal component. If you're using just a 909 and a vocal, if the vocal really carries the listener's attention, you probably won't need to do as much work with everything else. Probably. That being said, the vocal is not very magical in this section. This little chop. But it does work. So, but I think this song, like, this is very, for me, inspired by Pasa and like Treasure Fingers. And it's like a big thing that, Michael Beebe and Pasa do is they'll just find a great acapella and just let it play completely by itself.
Takes so long, so I've got to sing this song to let you know how I feel. What's the deal, baby?
And then the beat comes in and everyone gets really excited. So, a large reason why I can get away with doing so little is because the vocal really carries it. And I don't play the full vocal actually. Like there's all of these other sections in the song, but the one part, the original vocal is this classic house song called Horny. And I do allow the chorus of the song to play. I think it's here. As kind of like a big moment. Because the whole song you've been kind of grooving to this, either the vocal chop or the verse.
Deal, baby, and I can't wait for you and the things you make me do. My heart is ringing, so I'm singing this song for you. I'm horny, 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 horny.
And this is the part of the song that a lot of people know.
So horny, I'm horny, horny, horny tonight. I search from town to town, but I can't find my.
So I'm letting the vocal kind of carry the song. And if the vocal's really good, you can be lazy. And I think if I got really complicated with the drums and doing all this fancy stuff, it could be cool. But depending on what I do, it could also just take away from the vocal. Like I don't know if I would put this vocal on top of that other beat that I was just working on, right? It's like, it might be a little much. Maybe I would simplify the vocal if all those other sounds are in. And so I think, what you can kind of start to look at is even just between, let's call it like your vocal versus everything else, how complicated, how interesting, how dynamic your vocal is could inform how simple you keep the rest of your song. Does that make sense to people? Cool. Awesome. So I think that's that was like the main thing that I wanted to show people. Any comments or questions about any of the stuff that I just showed? No worries if not. Okay. We'll do proper Q&A later, but I think on that note, let's do a couple sort of like feedback sessions on some tracks. And I'll try to highlight some more principles that I think could go a long way and be helpful. There was someone who sent a track that I would like to discuss. I DM'd this person to see because there was like a missing audio file. Let me just check my DMs real quick to see if they sent it. Hold on. Let's see. No. Is David Gomez here by any chance? And no worries if not. He might not be. Let's see. Okay. No worries. At
Hi
David
there.
Gomez.
Sorry, I'm right here.
David.
I'm in the car right now, so it's gonna sound a little rough right now. I'm sorry.
No, you're chilling. Great to meet you. Um,
Hi there.
yeah, so you sent me your I loved your track, the
Oh,
909
thank you.
song.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. The way you sent it, the vocal didn't come through. You're driving,
Oh
so
no.
it doesn't matter, but I actually just wanted to highlight it. I don't there's no tweaks that we need to make. And I can just
Yeah.
play it off SoundCloud. But dude, you
And
crushed it. It's so
thank you
good.
so much. And by the
So
way,
good.
I'm seeing the comments are like, please be safe. I'm in the passenger seat, so when I get the chance, I can send it to you. But if it's too late, that's okay.
Dude, it's honestly not even necessary. I'll just play it for everyone real quick.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, dude, you crushed it.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Let me just find you, David. Uh, awesome, man. Did you have fun making this song?
You see, I feel like to answer your question, I
Uh-huh.
feel like when I started doing your classes
Hmm.
since it was Black Friday,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to tell people that I've started producing since then.
Let's go.
When
Uh-huh.
I've been producing quote unquote for about now like almost 9-ish years.
Oh, wow.
I do sound to picture, cinematic, symphony style music
Oh,
and
wow.
some pop music. But like I've said, like I've been doing music for a while now. But since I started your classes,
Mhm.
making music has been so much easier. And I
Let's
feel like I
go.
haven't been overthinking anything, just
Mhm.
kind of going for it without any sort of like level of thinking that could, hurt me. Because yes, like it's good to overthink to make sure you have everything done,
Mhm.
but when it just creates problems when you go overboard. And I feel like your classes have helped me realize it's so simple and it could be fun.
Yeah.
Like everyone said in the first classes, like this is making music. You're not, like upside down trying to like build something out of pure luck. You're
Mhm.
basically just having fun with it, because at the end of the day music is having fun, like to have that time in the dance floor, when you play it out or when you're on the dance floor. So it was so great to have your classes just like make me a new producer. And
Oh.
I played one of the first songs that I felt like was
Mhm.
a real electronic song that I can play at a 120 to 140 BPM. And I played it on a stream for with Artsy Choke, and it felt like I was DJing for the first time as well, because I was playing my own music.
Let's
Anyways,
go.
that's all the lore with my like introduction to this whole thing, is that I feel like a new producer, and I'm learning new things. Like today, the groove thing, that was really cool.
Oh,
But yeah,
dude.
this is great.
Oh, dude, I'm so dude, I'm just blown away. That's such kind words. So excited. And dude, that's amazing. You knocked this track out of the park, dude. I'm so
Oh,
hyped on it.
thank you.
And
Wow,
I'll
thank you.
yeah, and I'll show the projects file. We're not we can listen to it from the
Yeah.
SoundCloud link, but
Mhm.
here, let me just pull open the project and share my screen. Dude, thank you for the kind words. I'm just so fired up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
let's see. Where did I put it? Hold on. Money on the dash. All right. Let's take a look. Um, I want people to see this project because this is amazing. It's like, okay, so give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. This track, there's the 909 and there's the vocal. It looks like there's a second vocal right here for a little bit, but the
Yeah.
vocal is offline. But I will play the SoundCloud version. Where are you? Okay, here. Let's see. Fire. Okay. And I'm gonna play the SoundCloud thing. Let's get it over here. I'll play it so you guys can, follow along to a certain degree and kind of just see how elements are coming in and out. But I think this is just really, really well done. Okay, cool. So good. Can everyone unmute? Make some noise for David. Let's go.
Let's
Yay!
go.
Oh,
David.
David.
Yes.
You guys.
David!
Thank you, everyone.
Dude,
That's so
so
that's so
good.
nice of you guys. Thank you.
So good. So good. David crushed it. And so I
Thank
just
you.
yeah, no tweaks. This one's so ready to play. Um the you know, I feel like this is what I mean by like that allow it when you find a vocal that just carries the song, game over. You don't need to do a lot. And I think I love how you looped sections. Like I love how he looped the vocal at the intro. Let's listen to that. That vocal loop is so nice. And then you can see the vocal then plays the verse. He then has some moments where it's chopped and gets hectic while the kick is out, then goes straight back to the full vocal and kind of alternates, which I think keeps the song really interesting, where you're getting the nice singing and songwriting from the original, and then you're getting these more like edited sections that allow you to just kind of groove out a little bit more. David, was the way I described it, was this intentional? Was this like part of your process, or were you just kind of messing around and throwing ideas? Like, how did it come together?
Yeah, so I actually had the acapella from another remix I attempted to do for this. Again, like when it came to electronic music, that was like house or UKG. I usually do those too. Um, I just kind of overthink it, and then I just try different CM presets, and then I tweak it to make it myself. So a lot of the originality wasn't there, and I wanted to make my own sound. So every time I overthought it, like I was like, no, this is not going to sound good because it sounds like this person or that person. But I guess in music, it's all sharing. It's all like you can't just find anything original. It's like a melting pot that you get all your inspirations, and then you make a remix out of that or a song like that. And with music, for me, it was always just the simple kind of like remix that I had in mind. But then once I'd start putting more and more and more, it was just too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then to make this song, I basically kind of made myself a 20-minute like timer.
No
Uh,
way.
yeah, I did a timer just because when I started, uh, I just did like a funny little um, like recording on my phone, put it on the project file, and then I was like, "Oh, this is so fun." Then I made another one where I try to just do it quicker, but then I just started to overthink again and again. Um, and I was like, "Okay, let's stop this. Let's stop." And then I tried it one more time with a different acapella, and it was this song from another remix I made,
Mhm.
and it was perfect on just
Unreal.
how simple and fun it was. Just adding drums where I wanted to, remove it for tension, and then put it back in. Like, and again, it all comes from listening to so much music, playing so many gigs without my own music. So that already helped, and I have that rhythm.
Yeah.
But what was the key is just not overthinking it and on making sure that you have like people listening to it already. It's just whatever happens afterwards. So
Unreal. David,
yeah.
thank you so much for hopping on the mic and
Yeah, of
sharing
course.
like these insights. And
Yeah.
dude, 20 minutes. Let's go, dude.
Let's go.
Insane.
Yeah, of
Insane. Now the next step is, dude, put it up on SoundCloud, free
course.
download,
Yeah.
get it out there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, dude, killing it.
For sure.
Super
Thank you so
awesome.
much for having me here. This is really cool. And again, I first started to just like make music the right way now after your classes because it's just been so free to not also produce but now perform without overthinking. So this is
Yes,
great. Yeah.
dude, that's
Thank
amazing.
you, Justin.
And also just one other thing. It's like there's no right or wrong way at the end of the day.
Right.
It's like any of these ideas that I'm sharing, they could all be broken. And, it's like, I think great. What I love about music is it's just like, it's like any rule can be broken. It's like you have
Mhm.
total freedom. You could do everything a totally different way and just be like,
Right.
fuck you. And it's like, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And,
Yeah.
I think my whole approach here, it's kind of like if your songs are not feeling the way you want them, these are things that you can look at. And,
Mhm.
and also the simplicity, let's just have fun. Like, let's not
Right.
overthink, overcomplicate it. So, no right or wrong, but, just wanted to kind of put that into context. Does that make
Of
sense?
course. Yes, most definitely.
Unreal. David, you're amazing. I'm so glad we got
Thank
to
you.
connect. And, dude,
Yeah.
incredible job. Incredible
Thank
job,
you so
dude.
much. No, thanks to you, really. Thank you. That means a
Dude,
lot.
let's keep it going.
Thank you.
Unreal. All right, let me go to another one. But was that cool to see? Just like, wow, that is so simple. Like 909 in vocal, nothing else. Um, David, one last question. What's the original sample? And you're muted, by the way. We can't hear you. No
Sorry,
worries.
guys.
You're
Sorry.
chilling.
Money on the Dash by Weathen. It's, I
Cool.
think, Ellie Due.
Cool.
I also had issues with uploading it on SoundCloud. This is also just for
Mhm.
future reference for anyone who's trying to upload like studio acapellas.
Mhm.
The algorithm's going to find it and take it down because it's the actual same
Mhm.
acapella. What I did is I transposed it a little bit down, just a
Mhm.
couple semitones. It does sound a little bit more robotic, so it doesn't sound super clear, but it totally like misregarded, like disregarded that it was an actual like song.
Yeah.
And I think that helped because I tried to put it up on SoundCloud, but it took it down. So I just moved the acapella a little bit to the left or the right, like down pitch or up, and then that really helps to like release it because then I couldn't release it on SoundCloud.
Dude, great, great insights. Appreciate you
Yeah.
sharing. Dude, so that Weathen Ellie Due acapella, it's like
Mhm.
having an ear for an amazing vocal
Yeah.
and being able to identify it, that is such a big part of being a producer and artist. Like so many DJs, they have like their breakthrough song because they remixed a cool vocal. And whether it's been done before, like Lammer, he remixed um, Waiting for Tonight, classic song. By no means was the first person to do it, but did it in a way that was really awesome. There's so many artists though, like Hamdi, his breakthrough song was Skanka with
Yes.
that, Brazilian vocal. And then his next track, Counting, that was like huge. That was a big song from 2007, Princess Superstar, I believe. So, it's like so many artists can have their breakthrough song by, doing a remix, a bootleg. And it's like such a big part of making music is not the technical aspects, but the idea, the taste, and the execution, like doing something well that's simple versus maybe something that's very technically impressive but doesn't connect. So um, hope that inspires some people. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's do another track. I really liked this one. Adit, are you cool if we talk about your song?
Yeah. I was just typing in the chat because David heard, or not David, Kevin, my dog, saw
Uh-huh.
me reacting to David's song and was like, I want to join the fun too. So
Oh, that's so cute.
my dog is on my lap. But yeah,
Let's go.
sure.
And what's your dog's name? Wait, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Kevin.
Oh, Kevin is your dog's name. Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out Kevin. Let's go. Oh, that is so amazing. The power of music, just transcends species.
He was
That
like, Mom, this song is a vibe. Let's get the download link.
Yes, that's so cute. Oh, Kevin's amazing. Unreal. Okay, so um let's see. Adit, talk to me. How did this 909 challenge go for you? I think I'm pulling up your song. What was it called? Uh,
It's called Want.
what?
And
Got it.
it was hard for me because at first, like, I couldn't even figure out really how to get the your 909 things. Oh, bye, Kevin.
Mhm.
Um, into Ableton. And
Yeah.
so that took me a while. And then I figured it out.
Mhm.
Um, and so I did like the kick drum and the toms and the hi-hats all through that.
Mhm.
And then I got stuck with like how to create the bass line, which is what we talked about on
Mhm.
our last call.
Yeah.
Um, but like the cool thing about it is Clay
Mhm.
was like, Adi, give yourself 1 hour to work on a song because
Yeah.
it takes me forever to finish tracks
Mhm.
and like use this as a chance to like challenge yourself to use your own vocal. So I used my own voice, my own vocal for the first time.
No way.
And so that's what I'm really excited about. And I think there's a lot of work that I need to do on it.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it actually turned out to be way better than I thought it could be. And it didn't
Mhm.
take me as long as I thought it would take for me to like use my own drums, create my own drum pattern as it did when I first started this like a year ago. So I learned a lot, which
Oh,
is good.
that is amazing. I'm so hyped on it and it's so fun. And I didn't realize that was your voice. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Are you cool if we take a look at it?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So, talk to me. Like where, I think like one of the most important questions is like, where is your head at? Do you feel like is it exactly how you want it to be? Is there any questions that you have? Like, how are you uh, feeling about where it is currently?
I feel like it's too repetitive and I need to add some kind of like ear candy or something to make it a little bit more exciting.
Cool.
Um, I think sometimes whenever I'm trying to like make music, I kind of like abruptly like drop the synth or like drop the bass line or something and it's not like a clear flow. I
Yeah.
struggle a lot with arrangement, so
Mhm.
that's something that I'm working on. And
Yeah.
then also I was actually texting in a group chat. I was like, so where do like whenever we're doing 909, where does the synth come from? Like how do you guys make sense? And
Mhm.
I really like the sound of a synth and I use a lot of samples for it, but I want to be able to learn how to like not necessarily make them myself because it's not like I know how to play the violin,
Mhm.
but like have more knowledge as to like where a synth comes from instead of just being like, oh, this sounds really good and pulling it in from like Splice or something, you know?
Got you. 100%. Well, okay, so, let's take a look. I think uh yeah, there's a melody that you put in here that is so awesome. Let me just click play and let's listen to it for a sec. Cool. Okay, sweet. So it's that I feel like that's, even though I didn't play it all the way through, does that sort of show kind of some of the main ideas?
Yeah, because it's so repetitive.
Cool.
So yeah.
Sweet. So, yeah, really, really awesome. Uh, you know, I think like because normally like when I teach, I would have you sharing your screen and would kind of show you what have you make the clicks and sort of be more like asking you to do it. So that way we could make sure that it kind of like comes from you. But I want to quickly just talk about um, you talking about it being too repetitive. So I think sometimes in terms of a song being repetitive, or us getting bored of a repetitive song. I think this, wait, yo, hold on. Did I lose you? Adit, can you hear me?
No, I can
Okay,
hear you. I'm just
cool,
listening very
cool.
intently, so I might look frozen.
Okay, weird. My internet is also just not the most reliable. But okay, so what I'd like to do, I'm just going to do a save as and not change anything. So here is there's a couple things that I want to talk about that I'm curious how they'll sit with you. So I'm gonna just drag some ideas over here, and let's just start with this kick and this bass line, which so this right here, so good. I'm just gonna play the kick and the bass by themselves for a second. Like that right there, this loop that you found, it's so good. It feels so classic and just hits so nicely. Um, what I so it's kind of interesting. I think like I'm gonna copy your drum groove and let's start there and look at the drums. Okay, so I think right now there's a couple things that are happening. I think you did some filter automation for the intro. And
Yes.
it looks like if you notice when you did the automation, it didn't go all the way up, which I don't know if it was intentional or not, but see how it's still kind of like muted versus getting that like a
Um,
little bit extra brightness. Was that intentional or should it go all the way up? What?
it was intentional because I didn't want it to be too loud.
Okay,
But whenever you play it right now, it doesn't sound too loud. But whenever I was playing it, it sounded like it was too loud.
fair enough. And you know, it's kind of interesting. I think getting used to uh, a lot of these volume issues can be relative, and it can be difficult to maybe get used to the the feel. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna uh, let's see. How about this? I don't want to delete anything that you've done, so I'm just gonna duplicate your pattern and just make like a new hat channel. And can I show you I want to show a little bit of the ideas that I was talking about in this demonstration when I started around the hi-hat. Um, so there's two principles that I want to show you. And ultimately, like you're the only person that matters. Like your tastes, like what you prefer is all that matters. But I want to kind of show you an option for the hi-hats and see how it sits with you. And see if it makes the track feel maybe it's not gonna feel less boring, but it might feel more hypnotic. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I think that's what we want to go for when we're figuring out when we're writing a track for the dance floor, there's there's generally going to be this quality of like a hypnotic groove. Doesn't matter really the genre, but just a groove that you want to hear repeating and kind of you just lock in to that repeating idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I'm going for. And I don't know, like, is it boring because I've listened to it 18,000 times trying to make it, or is it boring because it's actually boring? Like,
And it's hard to tell, but I think, and you should never, that's what you never want to be too critical because you could have just heard it too many times. But one of the things that I want to start with is do you remember when I talked about that main hi-hat being really loud and defined?
yes,
So in this 909 track, the hi-hats, you see how they're numbered 1 through 4?
yes.
They get progressively longer. And here, let me turn off the filtering so that way we can hear it nice and loud. And I'm going to turn off the extra plugins too. So here's what this sounds like. So the longer hi-hat has a little bit more power. What I would like to show you, because this is maybe why you felt the need to put the filters on, is because I think a good starting point would be going for a short hi-hat that just plays that's called the upbeat in between the kicks that gives you the unce kind of feeling.
Hmm.
And so what I'm going to do is just make this hi-hat a bit loud. And let's listen to it with the kick. Like, does that just to A and B compared to what you originally did? Tell me what you prefer. And there's literally no right or wrong. If you prefer this other one, that's okay too. But just want you to hear the difference. Whoops, hold on. Why is that? I guess
It's a synth or
it,
something. I don't
uh,
know.
or maybe it's oh, I see here. The pattern just changes.
Oh, okay.
Which do you prefer? Like,
I like the second one.
cool. So it's kind of interesting because I think with this pattern, I actually feel you on why you made it so filtered. Like, because I think it would actually sound really nice with this hi-hat probably all together. Like this would probably sound great. Like you could layer more stuff on top of it. It does work, but I think the it's definitely a cool idea. But I think when we're coming up with loops for house music, not adding, I think having the hi-hat play with the kick can sometimes take away some of the energy. Sometimes it's not really a rule, but the most important thing is that this unts unts hi-hat, the one in between the beats, is really gets its chance to shine. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just you just said something about like not having the hi-hats play with the kick, which
Mhm,
is confusing for me because I thought
mhm,
it was like the kick was basically supposed to play the entire time,
mhm.
except for your breakdown and your drop. Like you pull the kick in and out, and
Mhm.
so the hi-hats stay consistent. And so that's kind of why I was trying to change the pattern of the hi-hats a little bit to create some variation.
Yeah, and I think creating that variation is awesome. And the whole idea is good. Maybe it's just, like if we look at this section, the hi-hats only play with the kick. There is that extra one, but I think even if we were to take this idea and move it so that the hi-hats play in between the kicks,
Oh,
see
that
how,
sounds way better. Yeah.
right? So it's not like there's no rules about this stuff. Yes, you can have hi-hats on the kick, but it's sort of that relationship that I was talking about. Like to get that hypnotic groove, we want the up hi-hat to be on like a little bit of a pedestal and to like really it carries so much energy when you have that unts unts feeling. And when that main hi-hat is really loud, you can add some other hi-hats if they're quieter and it doesn't really matter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Can you actually just like collect all and save and reset until I
Yeah,
have this
100%.
loop?
I will
Or is this
definitely,
being recorded so
yeah,
I can save that loop?
yeah, yes, and yes. So
Okay.
I want to show because are you a fan of like classic house music? Is that like an inspiration for you or just like house in general?
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
So I want to show you one other thing to consider for your track that could be useful. So your track, I don't think you use any claps.
I didn't.
Mhm. And by the way, super badass that you didn't, because it's like in techno, sometimes not having any claps makes a song feel more techno. But for a lot of house music, putting claps in your song can make it feel a lot more housey. And there's sort of like a formula for where to put them. Can I just show you real quick?
Yes.
So putting claps on beats 1.2 and 1.4, like this. And this is like, if you looked at it with the kick drum, here's the kick, here's the clap. See how it's on the second kick and the fourth kick?
Yep.
And that gives us this feeling, this sound. And this by itself is like the perfect, sort of starting point. Let me just make this clap louder. Like right now we have kick, hi-hat, clap, and bass. Like I could listen to that
Yeah.
on repeat for a long time,
Yeah.
right? So I want to pause real quick. Like, I think this is just whether people are brand new or more experienced. Sometimes we can, if the song isn't feeling, I love how you described it. You're like, it's, how did you describe it? As like a little repetitive, or like you
It's just
wanted.
repetitive. Like it was like missing something. I wanted more out of it, and I was like, maybe I need to add some like ear candy or something to like make it more interesting.
So who can relate to that feeling? Like where sometimes you have a song and it feels like it needs more ear candy, right? When you are in that situation, sometimes the best thing to double check is that the main groove with four sounds, kick, bass, start right there. Do the kick and the bass feel good? Let's just ask that question for Adit's track. 100%. That feels amazing. Like that, those two elements, which are the most important, dialed. They sound so good. Then hi-hat. If you're making techno, it's just the hi-hat that matters. And if you're making house and you want that clap to be in there too, like Adit, do you feel how we could listen to that over and over again?
Yeah, and that's what I was missing. It was
Yeah.
literally the clap, like,
Yeah.
because I'm a house girly. Like,
Cool.
I know a bunch of my friends love techno and they make
Mhm.
their amazing techno music.
Yeah.
And I was like, it sounds like okay, but it's missing something that I like. I was like, I can groove to it, but it was like missing that one piece. And I feel like it literally was the clap. Cause like as you play that loop, I'm like, oh, this sounds like something I'm going to listen to until like 6 o'clock in the morning on a
Yes.
loop. Like,
100%. So I want to keep on talking about this track a little bit more. So you then have a vocal, and this is your voice.
yeah, it is. Don't
That's
make fun of
amazing.
me.
No, that's amazing. Yo, it's so badass that you put your vocals on a track. I recommend that everyone try to do it because no one has your voice. Everyone has a unique voice, and it's just such a great way to create songs and express your emotions, whether it's with lyrics or just, you know, like little vocal chops. So, wait, so uh,
It's
Elemental
literally,
Cuisine 15. This is
oh, that's just because it's
your voice memo, maybe.
elemental cuisine is by my house. So
Perfect.
that's the location that it picked up.
It's a sick name, honestly. But yeah, so what's great is you have all the main elements that you would need to make a song just right here. Like this, we could make a whole track out of. Um, and I think what happened is this is the reason I am so big on these challenges with simplicity because my suspicion is reaching for the synths and some of the effects might have happened because uh, it was actually a problem with the hi-hat and the clap. And on the flip side, if you're like, okay, I'm not gonna use any other sounds, it just forces us to dial in these sounds. And I think a good example would be a metaphor for like if we're making pizza, these four sounds are like it's like your dough, your cheese, and your sauce. Like making a margarita pizza. This
Wait, so
challenge,
you were just playing that without the synth at all?
correct.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it feels so good, right?
Yeah, it sounds really good.
So, it's like I think so often people can have like it's like this if we're using the metaphor of making a pizza, it's like if you have your dough, your cheese, and your sauce, but it's not feeling right, sometimes people just want to start adding toppings. And what I would recommend is like actually let's get a really good margarita pizza as like the foundation. And then if we want to add a little bit of pepperoni on top or green pepper or whatever toppings you want, I think it's a much better approach to do it that way. Um, you know, to have that really solid foundation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. And
Makes
so,
me excited for your class, but then I don't know. I
mhm,
also feel a little bit strange about feeling the need to use the synth because I thought the synth sounded good, but
it
now it's like
does.
maybe I didn't really need it. I don't
You
know.
you didn't need it, but it works great. I think it's awesome. Like I don't think you need to second guess it. Like let's listen. It works great. So it's like, with this song, I don't think you grabbed toppings in a bad way. Your ear is amazing and your intuition's on point. And if anything, it's like now I think it just works even better. So, like let's just revisit this whole, you know, I'm just going to copy and paste this moment real quick and check this out. Like what's cool here? Let's listen to this real quick. Listen to everything. Like that moment, even just that short snippet, could you imagine the dance floor like going off to that?
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
And let me show you one other thing. So I'm going to take this whole section and just duplicate it. Or actually, here, I'll show you this way. Um, Now that the foundation is so good, look at what we can do. I don't know if this will sound amazing, but I think we can mute the synth on the drop, and this would feel good too. And this could repeat. And then after a while, the synth could come back in. Right? So do you feel like how now that you have that solid foundation, the synth is it's even more exciting because you can play it without it or with it. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. I actually feel way better about this track now.
Awesome. Awesome. There's one last idea that I want to show you. So I'm gonna let's let's go back here, keep it really simple. So one of the other things you did was you added some of the toms right here. So this is another super important thing to note. And whether you're brand new or super experienced, so many people struggle with this. People who are very experienced and super technical can sometimes come up with all of these amazing sounds for the bass. And if you do too much, it might not feel as good. So this is what I want to show you. So the toms are a very particular instrument. Do you see how they're this dark red color in my little screen up there?
Yes.
So that shows low end. If I show you an EQ, see how it's all of this stuff down here?
Can you play it again? Yes.
So all of that, those are the low frequencies. The toms are like a bass line. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when it comes to bass lines, essentially, we only want one idea to happen at a time. Because if you play multiple bass lines together, it will sound muddy. So I just want to show you, the tom is not a bass sound, but I'm just going to show you, like, I'm just going to add another bass line to this track. Let's just do this. Okay, just putting in some random notes. All right. So here's a completely different bass line. Cool, with the kick. Make it a little louder. So that's like that bass line totally works, right? If I play it with your bass line, we'll have two bass lines playing together and it'll sound muddy. Let's listen.
Ah.
Do you hear how my bass line, it ruins your bass line? Like my bass line needs to get out of there, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I didn't realize the toms were a bass.
And that's what's tricky about them because they are just a drum sound. But just to show you
Yeah.
this rhythm that you have, if it was a clap, for instance, or another hi-hat, maybe let's try the rim shot. This would totally be fine. Right? Like that's not getting in the way of our low end. But the toms, they have that red color, and they actually they play certain notes. So with bass, you only want one idea at a time. People can layer basses on top of each other, but when they do that, they use the exact same notes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have the function to see the colors on my Ableton, so I should
Yeah,
probably download
you
that.
can, but you can also see it down here, like just to show you. See all those low frequencies?
Yeah.
If I undo it and bring it back to the rim shot,
Oh, they go away.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
exactly. But the tom idea, I just want to show you, you can use toms in this track. There's just I think a couple things to show you how you can do it. Can I give you some ideas?
Yeah, you can give me ideas, but I don't want to use them if they're not necessary.
Fair enough. And it's kind of up to you. Like that's the cool thing. So this bass line, I do think you don't need anything more. And I think there's something powerful about that. Like honestly, my recommendation would be like, yeah, it doesn't need it. You don't have to add it, but I just want to show you how you could use toms in this idea. Do you
Okay.
see how the bass line has a couple moments where there's open space?
Yes.
If there's open space, we can add other ideas because they're not happening at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's just listen, kick, bass, toms,
Oh.
right? And that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's groovy. I like that.
And it works because they're not playing together. If this was happening the whole time, tell me, I wonder if you can hear how the toms take away attention from the bass.
Yeah, it sounds like crowded.
It sounds crowded. And here's the thing, it's not horrible, but it's just, it's, in the club, it will sound more muddy. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and here's, I don't want to get too overly technical, but even if we switch to like a different sound, like this same rhythm, it's not the rhythm works, it's just the toms have so much bass. Like let's listen to the snare. This would work for a very different type of track. Like if you're doing like a reggaeton kind of track, I don't think the
Yeah.
909 snare is the best one for it, but you know, it's when you have sounds that play the low end, basses and toms, only one thing should happen at a time. Because the idea is like you want to give that bass line its space to be appreciated. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I just didn't know the toms were a low end. I probably should have known that, but
No,
I
no,
didn't know.
no worries at all. And the idea is cool. And it's like, I think yeah, I only brought this up to a large degree because also I feel like your intuition to grab the toms is actually dope. Like this is really cool, and you could use this in your track. Like and you could decide does it happen every single time or not. And just to show if we put it here, does this feel good or is this unnecessary? And
Yeah.
tell me what you think. Any thoughts?
I actually like it because I feel like that extra little tom at the beginning gives like a little preview that a tom is going to come later.
Oh, amazing. I think it works great too. So these are the things you get to play with. I'll save this, but that's what I wanted to show you. And then I think the last thing, so with your vocals, I think uh just as like an example, you know how I showed David's track where the vocal was used in many different ways?
Yes.
So I think for your track, one thing that I would also poke at you is I don't know how much else you've tried, but like even putting more of your voice on the song. Would you be open to trying that?
Yeah, not on this live call, maybe
Yeah,
during
no,
our class.
yeah,
But this vocal is actually a lot longer and I cut it down for
mhm,
the 909 challenge. So
yeah,
there's like a bunch of other different words and stuff I can pull.
mhm,
It comes from a conversation I was having with my mom where we
mhm,
were talking about music, and she was telling me that, like, because I was always worried that my mom was pissed that I'm not a brain surgeon and
uh-huh,
instead I'm a marketing manager and
mhm,
work on music. Um, and she was just like, I'm proud of you, just have fun. And like, there's part of that vocal because I started recording her and she's just like,
oh,
just have fun. And that's in the vocal, but I couldn't get it cut right.
cool,
So I didn't include it. So there's a lot more to that one vocal that I wanted to include, but
cool.
I only had an hour.
Yeah, it,
So
100%. I'm so glad to hear that there's more because it's like I could feel that there was like, you know, I could feel that there was something inside of you that like uh wanted to like be expressed. And yeah, it's that sounds like such a beautiful conversation. And that's what's crazy about music. You can have these moments and feelings and situations and literally turn them into a song. Like that is so beautiful.
yeah. Like the day your literal refugee mother is like, I'm proud of you and I just want you to have fun. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself while you're
Mhm,
making music.
mhm.
That's the day you're gonna like hop on Ableton and like try to make some music.
Let's
So
go. That is so beautiful. So beautiful. So yeah. And when you have more vocals, it's just I wanted to like can I show you one last thing just
yeah.
to for how to think about the song structure? So one last thing. This is gonna be, I'm gonna save this and I'll do save as and just do three rough structure. The key for song structure is organization. The more organized we are, the easier it is because song structure, um, you know, it like involves you're turning a loop into a bigger thing. If you need to, the more organized you are, the more you can imagine the song without needing to listen to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So one of the okay, Adi, you also DJ, right?
Not well, but yes.
Fair enough. Do you ever use Record Box?
Yes, yes,
Cool. So, here is when do you ever see tracks in kind of like the rainbow color form?
yes.
Cool. So see how even without listening to this track, can you imagine where does the beat come in and where does it kind of chill out just by looking at it?
Well, yeah, but I don't look at the colors. I look at the size of the waves.
Cool. So the colors show us a lot of information. So the red shows us the low end. So people dance when the kick and the bass are in, when those low frequencies are in, and they stop dancing to catch their breath when the kick and the bass are out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'll just play a couple examples. Let me just switch my record box. But so Lammer, he did like his guest lecture. Uh, here's the kick, no bass. See how the red is by itself? But when the bass comes in, see how it fills the spaces between the kicks?
Yeah, but if you go back to the other view you had
Uh,
right before,
do you mean the other song? This one?
no, where it was just showing the kick. Yeah,
Oh,
like this.
yeah.
Yeah, like I can see the kicks because I see the space in between each one.
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily looking at it being red, but I see the space. Does that
Cool.
make sense?
Yeah. Well, so the thing that I just want to highlight is because some songs can be pretty big with their waveform when the vocals are playing in a breakdown. Uh, but it is the the low end, the kick and the bass being in is what makes people dance. And so by looking at the colors, see how the this section is largely blue and green versus these sections. There are other colors, but it is dominated by the red. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, what one thing that I like to do in my tracks is I like to make my kick and my bass red. You don't have to do this, but you can make them whatever color you want. But um, let's just drag this Lammer track in as a reference. Let's see. Cool. Hold on. I'm just going to put it here. And even though the two of your guys' songs are super different, here, I'm just going to put it into your song.
You
I
just
just
reminded me I didn't even use a reference track for
and
this song,
you
which
don't
is like,
you don't need to. It actually is not necessary at all. But like, you know, the main thing that I want to highlight is the elements come in and out in multiples of 8. So if I right click and do 8-bar grid, see how a lot of the song structure, this is like a breakdown. Here's the drop. These multiples of 8 are very powerful. And it's not actually that easy to tell on Ableton when the breakdown versus the drop is by looking at it compared to the rainbow view. But if we take this, your kick and bass, I just want to show you how we could like, let me loop these. Okay, cool, they're looped. If we have a song that has maybe like, you know, let's say let's do like a minute of music. And let's say there's 30 seconds of a breakdown here where there's no kick, no bass. If there's no kick, no bass, we will probably need drums and vocals, right? So I know this, I'm just going to like repeat your vocal a bunch so that we can hear it. So vocals are super important, or synths, which that's what you did. If you, for breakdowns, the most important thing is that your kick and bass are out, and therefore you're going to need something else to keep the attention, which is largely going to be vocals or synths. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm.
And then the track will kind of come together as, let's say, here's one vocal idea. I'm going to just color code this a little bit. And we're not going to even listen to this, but this is just how I would approach it. Let's say this section has like a vocal that's a little bit more spacious. Okay. Okay. And let's do, what's your favorite color?
Pink.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So right here, we have the green vocal and then it goes to the pink vocal. And then what could happen is maybe there's one more section where it goes back to the green vocal, but the kick and the bass stays in. And do you see how like we're using the colors to help us stay organized? And without even listening to this, you can kind of imagine what's happening. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that makes sense. It just means I have to come up with a color code ahead of time. And so I imagine you pulled up Record Box so that I can use the colors in Record Box to help me define the colors that I use in Ableton. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
right?
that's sort of what I like to do, but it's not even that important. And the color coding is not the most important thing either. It's just like I do think at the end of the day, though, like the only thing that I feel really strongly about is the kick and the bass being at the top and being a single color. Because like
Okay.
if we zoom out, like here, I'm gonna just copy and paste a bunch of stuff around. Without listening to this track here, and I'll even add an intro. Let's just take this off. Maybe there's no bass. Maybe the vocal starts a little bit later. Maybe the synth doesn't start till here. I'm just gonna like kind of indiscriminately like just have some things come in and out. Without even listening to it, the most important part of the song structure for dance music is the kick and the bass, because even zoomed out, do you see how you can tell where are the main drops in the song? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, the I think it's sometimes harder with like the 909 challenge if all of your sounds are in one drum kit, but this, I just want to show this to you. Like the colors, they don't really matter too much. Like even if this is all gray, um, uh, it's still actually fine and pretty easy to tell what's happening. But the kick and bass being at the
They show
top,
you.
it,
Yeah, they show
it's
you where everything's happening.
and it's super important. Let's like just listen to this. here, and I'll just some little long build up. Right, so like that drop, it's very well defined because the kick and bass are out and then they come in. Is that helpful to
Mhm.
kind of see?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So more just things that I do. You know, you can there's no formula. You don't need to organize your tracks like this, but and yours was essentially like this with the kick and I think the toms were towards the top. But for me, this just really helps because if it's just the kick in or just the bass in, it often won't feel like a drop. It'll feel like an intro or an outro or a breakdown. Um, but those two sounds, kick and bass, when they come in together, people know it's time to dance. When they disappear, people feel like it's time to catch their breath. Does that make
Well,
sense?
yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I use like I'll organize my music like kick and then like hi-hat, clap, rim clap, like I'll do all the drums and the bass line last and then the
Mhm,
vocal. So
mhm,
the kick and the bass line are never together.
mhm.
So it's new to me, but the way you explained it makes a lot more sense, especially like using the 909.
Awesome, awesome. And
So it's super helpful.
just to show you the power of both of them coming in and out together is huge. Because let me just play this with just one of the sounds, and it won't feel like a drop,
It
right?
feels like an intro.
But then the kick comes in, and then it's like, oh, here we go, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. Let's take the bass out, right? It feels like an intro. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yep, yep.
kick and bass as a team, they control the dance floor. When those two are in, it's time to dance. There's no questions about it. If just one is in, could be an intro, could be an outro. We don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And once
Thank
again,
you.
yeah, of course. And once again, like people who are super advanced, if you have a lot of layers and you're stuck with structure, getting organized, super important, super important. You want to be able to see the track and roughly understand what's happening. And color coding makes such a big difference. And then the order in which you put tracks. And I think also ultimately, do the changes happen in multiples of eight becomes really helpful because if you dial in a section of your song that feels good, and let's say we get this one breakdown and drop to feel really good, then we can just do Shift Command D and copy it and maybe change one thing. And then it'll feel like a new section. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. I know
Yeah.
I'm hitting you with a lot, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cool.
I honestly, it's just all makes me really excited to start class in a couple of days
Let's
and
go.
be super prepared for my 18,000 questions are going to come in.
I'm so
Um,
here for it.
yeah,
So
and
here
we're
for it.
gonna work on this track. Just
Let's go.
FYI.
I'm so excited about it. It's so good. And yo, so Adit, can I throw one last sort of question at you?
What's
Because
up?
I'm really excited about this track. It's so good. For the 909 challenge, I would love to poke at you and see if you'd be down to try it again and see if like just like that example from David, that vocal that he used is so powerful that he didn't need to add anything else. It's just that kick, tom, hi-hat, clap. I know with your vocal, there might have been issues with just getting it in time. So it just has that potential, but there might be more sort of technical stuff to get it locked in. But would you be down to try another 909 challenge and see, can you just keep it just the drum machine using the toms and a vocal and no synths and nothing else and see how far you get?
So my initial thought was like I was gonna write the bass line myself with the 909s
Mhm.
based off of what we learned in your last class.
Yeah.
And now after this, it's like, okay, Adi, like get a little bit more confident, use all of your vocals and figure out how to get them in time. And even if my own vocals don't work out, then like maybe I can find another vocal.
I don't
You
know.
know, I don't know.
I think part of it actually, it's like, uh, I don't know. I think there's no what you just said to me sounds like you're uh maybe drawing to conclusions that don't need to be drawn on. It's like, I don't know. I think it's like
You can be honest. It's
no,
okay.
no, 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 no. It's like as I don't even know exactly what you said, but uh I like, dude, the song that you that you sent me is sick. I'm so excited for it. I think the it's just a matter of like because I think where that one went what became more difficult is the hi-hat clap situation where you
Yeah.
were using the filters and the different patterns. Like even just keeping it more simple will help you not feel the need to add more stuff. But that being said, it's not a judgment against the song you sent because I am genuinely so excited about it and it's so sick and the synth is great. It's all there. It's just more like just getting more practice. Honestly, a big part of it is like a confidence thing to be willing to have a boring song. That's actually such a big part of this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So, should I keep going off of what I learned today on this track and then create a new track with
Yeah,
just the 909
yeah, and a vocal and see
and a
how far you
vocal?
can get.
Yeah.
And don't
Okay, okay.
don't don't delete the song, don't change anything about the song. It's like some songs are meant to have a bunch of ideas and layers and it's great. And I'm also it's like I think if you the more comfortable you can get with nailing a really simple song, the easier it'll be to come back to that more complex track and just knock it out of the park. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
super
You're
helpful.
killing it. Can everyone unmute, make some noise for Adit for being so amazing, making an awesome track. Let's go.
Yeah.
Good job.
Unreal.
Oh yeah.
Killing it.
Let's go.
Let's
Let's go.
go.
Unreal. Yeah, for real. Thank you so much for being willing to, yeah, let us look at your song and explore it. And, I think so many, like I said, if you go back and listen to your original version and you like things more, don't allow me to influence you either. It's like all of this is just about trusting your own intuition. And as long as if Kevin's into it, then we're killing the game. But yeah, I'm kind of curious. Was that me looking through these different details? Was that helpful for anyone else to kind of see and kind of pick up? I think that was a really good example of a track that just has so much magic. And sometimes it's like, you know, is the hi-hat loud? Is the clap in? And then it's like all of a sudden, yeah, this is like a whole new thing. But it's like I actually didn't change anything. It's like the clap wasn't in, but it kind of always just goes on 2 and 4. And even the hi-hat pattern, you actually had that, but it was just a matter of making it louder and simplifying it a little bit. So it's like you're already doing all the right things. You're like, this is just why it's so interesting. It's like you were like 99% there, but that one little difference of the hi-hat being really loud completely changes the feel, right? Does that make sense? Awesome. Awesome. Uh cool. Let's see. Yes, it's nice that you're repeating the important message. Keep it simple. 100%. Okay, sweet. And it's like just trying to identify what those simple things are. Let me try to pull open one last track and see if there's anything else that uh pops up to me. Let's see here. I just pulled this one, the samples offline. Let's see. Let's do one more. Okay, Groove Project. Sweet. Okay, Groove Project Arnold. Let's see, does this one work? Okay, I think this one will work. Let's see. Okay, cool. Uh Okay, so the let me just take a quick listen to this. So, actually, honestly, I feel like I kind of covered everything that I want to. I really like that song. It's super dope. I feel more inclined to just go to some Q&A and then do a song share. Let's do it. Galen, was that your song?
Yeah, it was.
Dude, bro, killing it. It's so good. Such a funky bass line. I think some of the samples are offline, unfortunately.
Shit.
Um, but how are you feeling about it? Are you feeling okay with the track?
I started it yesterday afternoon, and I've never like got out of my chair and danced so much in like every single moment. I'm like, right now it's too chaotic. There's too many ideas that I've got,
Mhm.
but like the essence is there. So I just have to kind of organize, as you just said,
Cool.
get my channels in the right spot,
Mhm.
visualize, and then kind of go bottom to top and be like, what do I not need? There's too much at once. So yeah, just distill.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. Perfect. You read my mind. You're killing it. You trust your intuition. Also, don't put too much pressure on it. Like, I think a big mindset that I want everyone to hear, it's like, Adit, me talking about all these things for your track, a big part of it is just because I want to show these lessons that other people can use. But it like we could have changed nothing and you still could have played that track on the dance floor the way it originally was, and it could have felt great. So there's just no right or wrong here. And my goal is not to make anyone second guess how they make their music, but rather, if you are not happy, if it's not feeling good, if it's not feeling good on the dance floor, showing things that might make a difference. So, Galen, do you feel like you can take this track across the finish line?
Oh, 100%.
Dope.
And, probably, you know, by the end of the weekend, if I
Let's
have some good
go.
sessions.
That's the energy I want to hear. That's amazing. Okay, sweet. So let's do Q&A for a little bit and then do a song share. Does that sound cool with everybody? Awesome. So feel free to just put stuff in the chat. Also, real quick, does anyone else like feeling like really inspired and having some breakthrough moments on any of this? Give me like two. Does anyone feel inclined to hop on the mic and just like share what you're feeling? Elliot, would love to hear from you. How are you doing?
What's up, man?
Good to see you.
Good to
So
see
good to
you,
see
dude.
you.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for this again because like literally like it's been a year since your last 9 Night Challenge, and I don't know if you remember, but like I was a week into DJing, so
Yeah,
barely fucking new, dude. It's been such a ride, and like now that I'm like watching this, like I understand more than I did before because I couldn't do the challenge before
yeah.
because I did not know how to use Ableton at all. I was like, what the hell am I doing? But like since then, I took like some classes. I took a DJ class. I took like an audio arts class. I've
Uh-huh.
been like, all this sort of stuff. So I kind of know. I made my first track using loops. I made a
Yes,
track using just sounds of my voice,
that's
like stuff like
amazing.
that. Yeah, I could share the first track that I made because it was actually pretty cool. I was like, it was awesome.
Let's
I was like,
go. You
yeah, yeah.
we're
But like,
definitely gonna do a song share. So if you can stick around, you gotta drop us a sound
yeah,
on
I'm
deck.
so
That'd be
down. I'm so
awesome.
down. Like just to get everyone's feedback because I was really proud of it. I was like, okay, I was like, not
Yes,
bad.
let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Ah,
but honestly, like thank you because like I've honestly like DJing is so fulfilling for me for a while. It got really like challenging. I was really doubting myself, like really depressed and like kind of with like the Zoom with Alyssa, I was asking like when it comes with like competitiveness with like yourself and other people, like that feeling of like, when it's not fun anymore, like how do you push past that? So even that Zoom was fucking amazing, dude. But
crazy.
like I think now like I'm ready to produce because like I'm getting to this point where I'm trying to find new music, but like I can't find like what I want, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like one of the things that I really love Matroda, like for example, like I'm like branching out on like different genres now because like again I'm 2 years into EDM now.
yeah.
Like it's that build up and that like bow 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 bow, like that,
Yes.
and you just feel like you're just like yes.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to do that. Like I want to start doing that. So I think like my thing is like, is there any type of like classes like music theory or something to kind of understand this more because like I really want to like even like differentiating like genres of music or EDM specifically, I don't like know that well yet.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to like starting producing, like I don't have the best setup right now, but I want to like invest in it.
Hmm.
So like especially like getting like a Mac or something. So like
Yeah.
any beginner tips that you guys have for me, honestly, because I really want to produce. Like that's a big
Let's
2026.
go,
Like,
Elliot.
I really want to do it.
And next year when I do the 909 challenge, like it's gonna be
Oh, I'm
crazy. So
there. Dude,
yeah.
I'm gonna watch the YouTube of this challenge and want to and do it because like I really like now that I know Ableton, I really want to see what I can come up with too. And like, like
Let's
I'm there,
go.
I'm there. Yeah.
So, I think the 909 challenge is honestly such a good way to like to like stop being so overwhelmed with Ableton. And even though these tracks they sound a certain way with like the 909 drum machine, that drum machine is so classic that and it works so well that you can make stuff that goes off on the dance floor. Um, I think it's a good starting point in terms of getting other sounds and stuff. I feel like even you know YouTube and being like how to make a song like Matroda. I feel or like whichever artist. Julian Earl is someone I like on YouTube who does good breakdowns. If anyone else has any YouTube recommendations, feel free to drop them in the chat for Elliot. But
Yeah,
YouTube is
please.
such a good.
Any like
Mhm.
anything I could watch to like learn because I have like I went through a really rough patch. I lost my job, lost like my place to live. So like right now I have like so much free time. I want to focus on my music because I just decided like, dude, I want to be in music. Like this shit is like
Oh,
everything to me. Like I love it so much. So
oh,
yeah,
Elliot,
anything. Yeah.
your energy, you're such an inspiration, and just
Thank
got
you, man.
so much love for you. And yeah,
Thank you.
I,
No, I appreciate you. I appreciate
yeah.
everyone here. Like, thank you so much.
Oh, let's go. Well, so everyone, if you have a YouTube, like someone on YouTube who you fuck with,
Yeah,
drop a
please.
link for Elliot. Let me just pull mine up. Julian Earl. I don't know if has like a Matroda breakdown, but I would just go through some of his like, you know, a lot of the
Mhm.
stuff it's there, and you can just, you know, start picking up
Yeah.
some stuff.
Sick, sick.
But he's good, and yeah, YouTube is insane,
Yeah,
insane.
I really want to get into it because like, dude, I'm telling you, like I went through like to so many shows this year
Mhm.
that like I know what I like to mix, I know what I like to watch. I like to like even like it's crazy and like it I really want to do like I started like being sober recently and I
Mhm.
want to start going solo and sober. So like
Yes.
like in its raw like,
Yeah.
form, So I'm just like really excited for this.
Elliot,
I
your
sick.
energy right now is unstoppable, dude.
Thank
Got
you,
so much
dude.
love for you. And yeah, dude, keep in touch. And I hope to do more Zoom lectures like this going into next year. So
Yeah,
dude,
please, man. I'm
more
I'm so
more
there. I'm so there. Yeah.
more adventures to come, dude. Yes, let's go.
Thank you. And
Dude,
thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you.
unreal, unreal. So much love for you, man.
Thanks, man. Same here.
Ted, talk to me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Feeling on top of the world. Um, but yeah, so yeah, first thing I want to say is like I did those 4 songs for the 909 challenge, and ever since then, I've been doing 5 to 7 days a week, producing. Basically finishing songs within 2 to 6 hours of work and yeah, feeling really inspired. I've been dropping some bootlegs on SoundCloud. I might drop one tomorrow too.
Mhm.
I'm waiting on artwork for some of my other like actual singles to put them up on Spotify and things like that, but I'm just gonna keep working. Anyways, I think it was the week after the 909 challenge. I wanted to get locked in with my drum and bass side, and I watched how to make sub focus type dance floor drum and bass song. And there's the complete opposite of what you're saying in the 909 challenge because it's
Uh-huh.
like, and then add this, and then add this, and then add this. So I don't know. I guess my question kind of boils down to because my drum and bass track for the 909 challenge was probably the most difficult out of all of them
Yeah.
to get it pop right. So, and now that I'm working more on it and like keeping what you have taught in mind. I'm getting more of a feel for it, but can you just talk a little bit how to translate some of these ideas to a genre like drum and bass, which tends to be, I don't know, a little more complex. So
Yeah, I think drum and bass. I think out of all the genres, I think the 909 is not the best suited for drum and bass, just like the sounds. So I think it's pretty tough. Um, but one style, like one thing you could do, if you want to try this challenge and do drum something that's like drum and bass, uh, you could use the 808. And there, have you heard of the style electro by any chance?
yeah, yep.
So, electro uh, uses the 808, and a lot of it can be at drum and bass speed. So this is like a normal like electro beat. Hold on. Wait, why isn't the okay, so what am I trying to do? So if we speed it up to, 170, 160, like a lot of this type of stuff, it's a different genre. It's not actually drum and bass technically, but it kind of works with it. And a lot of like the ideas of, like a drum and bass track kind of apply with how we do like drum fills and stuff like that. Like, you know, you can get funky with it. Wait here, I meant to do that. But so the 808 is one option. Uh, and like a lot of electro, um, would be like let's see, like has these like synths that are kind of like sure, like maybe like I don't know, just clicking on random shit. Am I is Ableton gonna crash right now? Oh, that's actually like so electro right there. Wow, this is actually gonna work great. Um, but a lot of electro has these like very fast kind of techno-y robot sounds. But like, let's see, let's just fuck around. It's kind of it sounds weird. I'm just gonna let it play. Okay, and then maybe like go up at the end. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe twice as long. Hold on, I need to move zoom out of the way. But like this is kind of like the basis for like electro. The synth is kind of like out of time or something. But 808 is good. For drum and bass also, instead of using the 909 or the 808, really what you want to be using is like the amen break and stuff like that. That's like a very 90s way to make drum and bass. Amen break 160. There's like a really good YouTube thing on it. History of the amen break. Big fan of this. This is, I'll tell you all about it.
Oh yeah, I've been into all this. I don't know. I deep dive on this shit. So
Awesome.
um,
So, because the context of the 909 challenge is really looking at how people made house and techno in the 90s. For
mhm.
how people made drum and bass in the 90s, they were taking this sound and then just speeding it up. Let's see. Here, one sec. Speeding it up. And then chopping this up, so it's like this right here is what I would say might be the equivalent of the 909, but in drum and
Okay,
bass. And it's like
yeah,
the way you manipulate it and fuck with it is like what gets a lot of like the more classic drum and bass stuff, having things repeat or then stretch. Let's stretch something over here. try that. And you've been making things repeat in interesting ways. Maybe like that, just chopping stuff up. Like, just this one sample, the amen break, you don't really need much else, but
Right.
I mean, like, it's like with the 909 challenge, it's like a drum machine. With this, it's like you could just have like, drum bass vocal, like, you know, like an eight, like even the 808 kick drum is pretty good
Mhm.
for for uh for 808 kick for drum and bass. Like that's probably like a more of like a rap, sure. But
Yeah.
like but like a lot of like old school drum and bass is just like playing with, a few simple sounds. Let's see. Do maybe just like, oh shit, that's completely off the grid. Let's see, is that too low? Maybe cool. Just putting some random shit. Not going to be too inspiring, but it's like this is kind of where it all started, and
Yeah.
throw a vocal on top. But that's how I would approach it. Is that helpful at all?
It is definitely helpful. And I guess I'm part of like I'm really comfortable making drum and bass and like I know a lot of those fundamentals. It's just when I tried to apply it to 909 and then yeah, I watched that YouTube video just to get reoriented and inspired and I just thought it was pretty funny that basically you're telling us like keep it simple and then he just kept saying like add more, add more, add more. So, but yeah, I don't know. I still think though, like everything you've been teaching about keeping it simple and like using space intentionally with different frequency ranges, like I always have that in mind, even when I'm making like drum and bass. So,
Dude,
uh,
amazing. And I think it's like even like if you want to make more complex music, I think just starting with simple stuff is a much
mhm,
more efficient way to like hone your skills. Like my favorite example would be like for like hold on, let me get rid of this so I can see Aphex Twin. Um, dude, like Aphex Twin, do you know his music?
yep, yep,
Dude, like some of it is so freaking complicated, like window
mhm,
licker, and it's so good. Like his complicated shit is so amazing. Uh,
yeah.
this is the music video. That's kind of crazy, but but like where he started was with really simple tracks where it was like just, a drum machine, a synth or two. Um, dude, like this is just an
Mhm,
808 with reverb and then like two synths.
yep.
We're like 30 seconds into the track, there's just a kick drum and a synth.
Mhm.
Like so much of this music is really, really simple. One of his biggest songs is just a piano track. And then on the same album, he'll have stuff like this. So it's like, I think simplicity, it's just a really good way to build your skills. And if you can sharpen those skills, then it just becomes easier to execute on more complex ideas. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm chuckling a little bit because my producer name is Skills, and you said it like three times in a row. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, I guess I'll leave with this, just that like, basically doing the 909 challenge was a breakthrough because yeah, I start with those fundamentals on every track I work on, and then I ask myself, okay, what does this need next? And then when I get to a point where like okay, like maybe it doesn't need anything, then maybe I'll leave it sit for a day and come back to it fresh ears and be like, okay, I was right. It doesn't need anything. So, or maybe it needs one little tweak or, yep.
100%, dude. And Ted, 4 tracks in one weekend is insane, dude. You're killing it. All different genres too. Insane.
Yeah.
Dude, appreciate
Appreciate
you
it.
so much, man. Um,
Mhm.
awesome. Adit, did you have a question or a comment? What's up?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about like 909 challenge, keeping it simple and all that stuff. And I know when we were going over my track, we were talking about the synth, which Kevin changed. Which, anyways, to my question. So, how do you approach using synths in your music? Like, do you use them at all? Because I love to use synths,
Mhm.
and I'm worried that keeping it simple means that I have to get rid of like that kind of synthy sound, you know?
So one thing that's really important, um, like I definitely I don't know, it's like the 909 challenge doesn't involve any synths, but uh it's like, you know, like yeah, I mean synths are amazing and they're great. It's like I think for in some ways it's easier to make a song when you do have synths because you can throw more stuff at the listener. So me suggesting that you do another 909 track like in the next couple days is more just like practice to like get more comfortable. And it is challenging in a way. And then we're gonna bring like at any point you can then also just be like, you know what, Justin, fuck you. I'm putting the synths in. And like, dude, there's no consequences, you know? It's like whatever is in your heart, like rock it. And if you can get a track to feel really nice before the synths are even in, and then you put synths on top and you love it, that to me, that's just amazing. So
Okay.
yeah, I love synths and yeah, the synths are great. It's all just um
Do you use them when you produce though?
totally 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I and it just depends. It's like uh if I use them, I still want to make sure everything else underneath is working. Does that make sense?
Yes. It's build the foundation and then add the synth.
Yeah. And sometimes you start with a synth and you're like, oh my God, I love this. And then you throw the foundation underneath it. You just then got to double check that the foundation is solid. So it's not even like an order of operations thing. It's just like if the track doesn't feel good, even though it has the best synth, we want to look at the kick and the bass. We want to look at the hi-hat. Like that's sort of how I'm suggesting it. Does that
We
make
want to
sense?
make sure we have the clap. Like,
Yeah.
well, not, I'm not gonna go into that joke that I just made in my head.
Cool. Awesome. Dude, amazing. Amazing.
Okay, cool,
Was that
cool.
helpful?
Yeah, yeah, that's helpful. I didn't want to feel like I had to abandon synths because I
Yeah.
love the sound of them.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's like, yeah, no. It just you know, just talking about the foundation for the synths to really shine to their fullest potential on the dance floor. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Cool.
yes. Thank you.
Of course. Awesome. All right, let's I'm down to answer a few more questions. Feel free to put stuff in the chat. I think one person asked about my mastering chain. I'll just talk about that real quick, but feel free to start putting comments in. My mastering chain for like most of my tracks. Let me show the this edit. Um, is often just the stock Ableton limiter and nothing else. On more recent stuff, like in the past year, I got Ozone and I use Ozone Elements. and I really like it. And hold on. I guess I need to click on this one. And honestly, a lot of the times these days, my mastering chain is just ozone. And I'll click start listening. And let's see what happens. Oh wait, shit, that's not gonna actually work because I need all the elements.
Message through the internet, but it rejected. I wrote a letter with the
This I need to redo it because the I was just soloing the hi-hat, but the often I'll just run the AI mastering, and if my mix is good, then often I won't need to do much to my mastering. Let me see if I can open up any other projects where I did get more involved. Let's see, maybe this song. Let me check. Sometimes there's an EQ, but yeah, normally it's pretty simple, like often just an EQ and a limiter. What did I do on this track? Loading. Yes, there's an EQ. It's actually not even doing anything. It's not doing anything. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very into like less is more. Um, yeah. Okay, let me read some more questions. Do you think Ozone is worth the money? I have the cheapest version called Elements, Ozone Elements. How much does that cost? Price. That's Ozone 12, $55. Yeah, was definitely worth $55 for me. But I think there's times where I actually prefer the Ableton limiter. So if you have $55 laying around, go for it, but not necessary. How do you choose lead instruments? How do you get the sound right and not too extra? So Tanner, how do I choose lead instruments? I mean, lead instruments like lead synths can sometimes be tricky. I think it's just a matter of like trial and error often. I think one way that I approach them also is you just try stuff, and if you figure out a synth that works, don't be afraid to use it again. Like I think that's something that I do all the time. Like for instance, one of my favorite types of sounds is the basic sine wave. And here, like this is a track that I just put out with the homie Val Dison and our friend Coco on vocals. Let's see. There's a lot of different synths in this, and I'll play you a little bit.
I'll see you at the bus stop. We're gonna have a long ride.
Oh shit, some of the elements are not in actually. I don't think the kick is in. Some of the audio might be gone because we kept on sending it back and forth on our computers. But some of the sounds in this, here, I'll play it off Spotify that way. You guys can actually hear what it sounds like. Because there's all these different synths. And here we go. And here's that drop.
I'll see you at the bus stop. We're gonna have a long ride. I gotta do it all night.
So some of these sounds are just the stock Ableton synth called Operator. Let me see if I can find it here. So yeah, when you pull up an Operator, it just has this like really simple sound that I just love. Operator. I love this sound. It's the most basic sound, but I just think it's so cool. And you can twist some knobs to make it like bend. Like that, to me, I could listen to that all day. So that's the sound. I think it has like a little bit of like Bit Crush, but it's just, oh, sorry, that's a little loud. But yeah, like that sound, I use it on so many tracks that just that sine wave, you can play chords with it. I've used it on so many songs. It's kind of on this one in the background. Let's see. Let me see if there's any other songs I've used it on. Can't Hang. This song. These chords.
There's just too much going on. I can't handle it.
That song is just, I can't play it with, I don't have enough notes on my keyboard. It's not big enough, but it's just the sine wave. So when you find a sound that you like, you can use it a bunch, and it kind of can be in that toolbox. And I think a lot of people, they talk about having a sound as an artist. Often, in my opinion, that sound can just can be laziness, but I think in a cool way, where it's like, oh, that sound worked. I need a sound like it. I'm going to use it again. And then there's just times where you don't know what you're doing. You open, like, dude, Ableton has so many sounds, and you could just click through and just try random stuff. Like, there's so much here. Like, sounds. Here, let me click this. Mallets. I've used so many mallet sounds. Like, cool. Cool. Does that work in my song? Let me try it. This is the process. It's just trying shit, throwing stuff at the wall, seeing if it sticks. And if you end up loving something, don't be afraid to use it again. I hope I answered that question. Yes, laziness is an attribute. Amazing. Any thoughts on Pro Q3? I do not use it. I think it does some nice things. But I've never used it. And I've released a lot of songs. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think anything, if you have Ableton, you don't need to buy anything else. Do you use a span and a limiter to try to match LUFS? No, I don't do anything. I don't even know. I know everyone talks about LUFS and it relates to volume, but I don't actually know what it is, and I don't look at it. I am very like, I'm like a 5-year-old. I look at the waveform and I'm like, does the waveform look pretty and chunky? And I'm like, yes, great. Then I play it, and if it sounds good, great. If it needs a tweak, then I'll try to make that change. I feel like Ozone is 500. It can be $500, I guess, but I just use the cheapest one, $50, 55, I think. Any other questions? I'm trying to scroll through. If you could bump questions, but I'm not seeing that many. Okay, fair enough. What is your basic workflow for breaks in a track? The main thing for breaks, for breakdowns, is that your kick and bass are out, so you're going to need to have something that fills the space. Like, let me just pull up an example. Let's see, what's a good example? Sure, let's do this one. Okay. This is an unreleased track. I made it in an hour. I was sitting on the couch. Don't save. But yeah, like, if you are gonna take the kick and the bass away, you're gonna want to add other stuff. So here's the track. I'll play a little bit. Is my audio working? Can you guys hear that? Okay, cool. So this is the kick, and here's the bass. So for the breakdown, the kick and the bass stops. if the kick and the bass is out, I'm going to need other things to happen. And so let's look at the main elements of the song are pretty simple. There's a vocal chop.
Yeah.
There's a weird sound effect that's from a buildup. It's like the original sample is this. It's like a dubstep sound effect. And I just like chopped it up. And then I think there's also a female vocal. Yeah. So to make the breakdown, I took out the kick and the bass, and then I just made all of the vocals go crazy. Instead of this,
Yeah.
it's this. So that's getting really busy. And the female vocal does the same thing. And then I just have this crazy synth with maybe there's some reverb on stuff, but it's pretty simple. What else happens? Oh, I guess this is the same crazy synth, but just playing. I'm just making it do crazy shit. Like I think all I did was I took this riser. I'll even show you guys with like a different riser just so you can see my thought process. But I took like a riser sound effect. But it had like, so it was like that. Just like a crazy sound from like a rhythm sound pack. And then I did this thing where if you click on the control and the pitch thing, you can make the pitch, instead of being one note, you can have it start really high and go down, or vice versa. So this is high. I could have it go up. But so it just immediately, you take a crazy sound and make the pitch go crazy. And then I'm just playing it at different notes. So I'm just throwing a bunch of like mid-range sounds, and here's the breakdown. So it's a pretty silly track. And yeah, it's all just about, if you take your kick and bass away, you need to have stuff that still plays. And the mid-range is where you want to look, because that's like synths and vocals. Drums can stay in, but then it's about thinking about contrast. So on the drop, the vocal chop is the vocals are very simple.
Yeah.
But before the drop, they get very complicated. On the drop, the bass is very kind of like choppy. And on the buildup, the synths are very long. So there's just a nice contrast between the two. So you can really do anything. But I think, even if I took out these sound effects, the track would still work pretty nicely just because of the contrast of the vocal chops. Let's listen. So the sound effects are crazy, but they're not that important. It's like, I think really the vocal chops being fast and hectic, and then, keeping the listener interested, then simple vocal kick and bass come back in. There's also contrast in the drums. No drums for a bit. And then snare roll. And then all the drums come back, which is nice. So yeah, hopefully that answered that question. Um, okay. Uh, Alex, so with no bass always. Alex, can you hear me by the way? Are you there? Feel free to just hop on the mic and say hi if you are here. Um, yes, thanks, Justin. Okay, cool. So yeah, kick and bass have to be out. This is what I was trying to say earlier with the color coding. This is where my big breakdown is. The kick and the bass come out. When I see tracks like this, where the kick and bass never leaves, this is only acceptable normally in techno for songs that are like DJ tools where there's never a breakdown. But for most songs, especially like house and even most techno tracks, the kick and the bass come in and out. They come back in as a team generally. If you just have one or the other, it's not the drop. And you can tease people with just the bass or just the kick. But the two need to slam back in to make people dance. Cool. I got pretty tripped up on my tracks translating consistency across all different devices. Thoughts, Justin? Not being able to hear sub makes me question how it's going to translate on the dance floor, though. I'm going for really low end focused groove style tracks, so it's super important. Yeah, I think for like, because Sarah, I know you're in Berlin right now. A lot of like techno, you might not be able to hear the low end very well on your phone or laptop speakers, and that's okay. I think for me, the main thing that I use, because I make all my music on headphones like this, or this song I actually made on laptop speakers. I never even heard it. Um, I use the waveforms, and before I got mini meters, which is this plugin that shows the picture in real time, I would just put my songs into Rekordbox or Serato to just see the waveforms. And okay, here I'm going to show you something. This is what I used to do in the past. T1. Okay, so let me just show you. I don't know what song this is, but T1. Let me sort alphabetically and see. Okay, well, so what I would do is I would do these test bounces to just look at the waveform and be like, oh, the bass is louder than the kick. I would literally just solo my kick and bass, put it in Rekordbox and look at it. Then when the track's done, I would put the whole track in and see like, oh, does this track look like it sounds right, and does the shape look full? If it doesn't, I need to put more gain on the master and make it louder. So Sarah, that's my recommendation. Use a big fan of mini meters. I think it costs $10. If not, just put your songs into Rekordbox and look at them. Do they look comparable to the songs that you DJ that other people make? If so, you're chilling. If not, can you identify what are the differences? Can you see the kick drums? If you can see the kick, you're doing great. If the bass is smaller than the kick, I think that's generally pretty good. And beyond that, it's just getting the volume balance most of the time. So yeah, visuals for the waveforms, very helpful for me in low end. All right. Let's see. Do you mind sharing some go-tos for adding more depth to your tracks? Things like texture, impacts, risers, etc. Often I try to avoid putting impacts and risers in to make sure the song feels good without them. And then it's like then if I want a little bit, I can sprinkle it in. That last track, I used some riser effects, but it's like I kind of use that as the main idea. It wasn't really like a texture as much as it was like I'm using the riser as a synth, really. Any recommendations on places to post SoundCloud songs? I have some remixes. Dude, I'd post it on SoundCloud. If it gets taken down, David had a good piece of advice with changing the pitch. But I'm big fan of free downloads on SoundCloud. Bucky, good to see you, dude. Awesome. All right. I think on that note, let's see if I can find one last question. It's just so fun to talk about this stuff. I don't really see any. I might be missing some. Do you use the 909 for your snares? Yeah, 100%. Like the snare rolls all the time. All the time. It's so good. And just to maybe I'll show one last thing. Even when I'm not doing the 909 challenge myself, although dude, like I made a 909 challenge type track last year that Bad Boombox has been playing. Like they're great. But a lot of times I will use the 909 to it's like even if I have other things, I use the 909 a lot for my hi-hats and claps. Like I'm just gonna pull up my song with Connor with Cold Sweat, Back to the Groove, because that's just such a good example of uh the 909. This one doesn't have a snare roll actually, but the the 909 is still main hi-hat clap kick. And then there's some other sounds. That's from the 707. This is like the percussion loop. There's a house loop. But the 909 is still kind of like the main thing. Yeah, so 909 crash as well. It's just so good. It's just timeless. It's timeless. People have been using it for like 30, 40 years. Still hits. Awesome. Okay, sweet. What's your current favorite 808 synth? I don't know. I just use the stock one. Not a production question, but are you still planning on releasing those EPs from the crew, from the tracks we voted on together? 100%. I'm just super slow and we'll make that happen. Adam, good to see you, man. Where do you get your non-drum vocal samples from? Anywhere. Like there's you know, honestly, these days, dude, like Ableton just added a feature where you can strip vocals out of anything. I'll just show that real quick because that's fucking crazy. But if you click on a thing here, like let's just DJ Dion Back to the Groove. This is the finished version of the track. You can literally right click. Where is it? This is more for me to figure out. Separate stems. It's fucked. High quality. Separate. Is that going to take too long? Here, I'll do low quality. Separate stems. It's high speed. And let's see how well it does. It's kind of funny that I can actually compare it to the original. So
Back to the
it's not the highest quality compared to, but it's pretty close. Like, let's just see if this were the track.
1, 2, back to the right on track.
It's a little off time, but that totally works. So shout out Ableton's update. But yeah, YouTube, Reddit. Is that song you made with Mind Chatter you made at Shambhala coming out? It sounded sick at the pagoda. Oh, dude, that fires me up. Yeah, who knows? Bryce, Mind Chatter, he's awesome. He's very particular. So I don't know. I'll try to convince him. We'll see. But I appreciate you. Dude, that was fun. Awesome. All right, let's do a song share. Does that sound cool with everybody? Drop those SoundCloud links. Let's run it. Awesome. Okay, let me try to clear my screen. And you can send any music, whatever you want to share. Nicholas, Alex, Anna, good to see you. Elliot, let's go, Elliot. Okay, we got the Google Drive link. Let me just make sure it works. It does. It does indeed.
Yeah, my first ever with loops ever, like testing it out. I was like,
Let's go.
hopefully it sounds good because I played on my friend's speakers and I was like, wait, I didn't know.
Dude,
Like,
you're chilling.
yeah, thank you.
Devin, good to see you, man. Let's see, we got Tanner. Uh, okay, Bucky, Adam, Eddie, Ed, Ted, let's see. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Daksh.
It's
Bailey.
Dutch.
Daksh. Pleasure to meet you, man. Got your track. Darux. Natalie Rosenblatt. Got you. Lexi. And Adit. Ted, Ed, and Eddie. Let's go. Yeah. Sarah. Megan. Steve. Good to see you, man. Okay, cool. Unreal. Awesome. Okay, cool. You guys ready to blow up the chat with some positivity? All right. Boom. Let's do this. Okay, amazing. Cool. And here I'll pull up mini meters. I'm only gonna play each song for like, let's see. I always try to be like so hard. You know, you start playing and then you just lose track of time. But I want to just be as fair as possible. So I'll try my best to keep it equal. I'm gonna do this many tracks. I'll call it like 20 seconds. All right. And I'll try to skip around to get to the good to get so you guys can hear the song. All right. Blow up the chat. Ready? And let's run it. So sick. Unreal. So pretty.
Step back, take a step back. Step back, take a step.
Unreal. I'm gonna do SoundCloud links first for now. Beautiful. Dude, banger. So good. That was crazy. Dude, such a sick remix. Unreal.
Started tonight.
So good. So good. Here we go. Come on.
Southern California, much like Arizona. My eyes don't shed tears, but boy, they pour when I'm thinking about you. Ooh, no, no, no. I've been thinking about you. You, no, no, no. I've been thinking about you. Do you think about me still? I don't. Since you think I don't love you, I just thought you were cute. That's why I kiss you. Got a fighter jet, I don't get to fly it though I'm lying down thinking about you. Ooh, no, no, no.
So good. Let me try to hit these. Here we go. Google Drive. Really cool. Come on, Google Drive, load. Load. There we go. Super cool vibe. Let's see, 11.
Wait, I have the SoundCloud link so you can pick the right spot.
Fair enough.
I just put it in the chat. Sorry.
No, you're chilling. You're chilling. All right, we'll come back to you.
Yeah, come back.
Dude, that's so good. Adam. So good. Unreal.
You are the one, the one, the one, the one, the you are the one, the one, the one, the one, the one, the you are the one, the one, the one, the one, the you are the one, the one, the one, the one. You are the one so cute and so clever. I am the one who's got you forever. Whatever you do, I'm with you wherever. Living our best life, making it better. You are the one, the one, the you are the one, the one, the one, the one, the one, the one, the one. You are the one so cute and
so good.
Experience ketamine for you and your friends.
Dude, this is so sick. Really tight.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
Come on now, say my name.
I lost my ability to.
I wanna know what it feels like when they see me for a good, when they see me for a good time.
Don't stop.
So sick. Come on, here we go.
Kiss me.
It's so tough. Really good. I think we already heard this one. And here we go. Nah.
I got that one.
That's so good.
Dance all the time. Dance. You want a piece of this?
Okay. Unreal. Wavy. Elliot, I think that was you. Crushed it. Sick. That's so sick. Crushed it.
If not available at present, please leave your message after the beep.
Super fun, super banging. Wow, what a perfect note to end on. Everyone make some noise. Let's go.
Let's
Yes.
go, y'all.
Amazing. Great job.
Smells so
Let's
good.
Dude,
go.
I love that we just ended with Feliz Navidad. Incredible song name. Yeah, guys, so much amazing music. Also, before I forget, put your Instagrams in, make sure that you can connect with each other. And I will try my best to remember to send the chat. But drop those Instagrams in. Hope everyone has a happy holiday. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year. And yeah, I will I hope to do more of these going into next year, and we'll just keep these amazing vibes going. Yeah, so excited for this year's boot camp. I'll see you guys very soon on Monday. Oh, we're gonna do like a little orientation sesh Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific. Just to like hang out and say hi. Uh, for the homies who've done the boot camp, I also want to do some more alumni Zooms. So we'll all get that squad together. And for everyone, I'm lining up some special guests for next year. that I'm really excited about. Just trying to pin down some dates, but there's some very, very cool people that I really love who are down to hop in the mix. And yeah, I want to try to keep on doing just as much of this stuff as possible. It's so fun. I love it. I love making music. And hanging out with you. And just this, we got such great energy. Like very grateful for all the just amazing vibes that all of you have brought to these past couple weeks. And thank you for hanging out and staying up late with me. It's just been such a delight. So much love. I'll talk to you all soon. And yeah, have a great night.
Thanks, Justin. Happy
Peace,
Bye,
everybody. Of
guys. Happy
course. Happy
holidays.
holidays,
Thanks,
everybody.
See you guys. Stay
Thank
safe.
you,
Much love,
Justin. You're the
everybody.
best.
Much
Bye.
love.
Bye.
Talk
Bye,
to y'all soon.
guys.
Bye, everybody. Night.